Happy Chatter Day.
Yeah.
That's that's the new hashtag.
And shout out to Pasta for today's catering.
Oh, Pasta.
We got
so
catering
much.
today.
Buongiorno, Pasta.
That's right.
So it was a happy birthday for Jimmy a week ago, and so Pasta decided to send us some food, and it's terrific. What would he have?
Well, it's pasta arrabbiata, which should have been pasta puttanesca, but I'm not going to complain. But no, it was delicious. It was awesome, and some salad, and the raspberry dressing was spectacular.
Off the hook.
Spectacular.
We've got John. He's here. Arn. He's here. They love it. They love the food. Gentlemen, we'll share that mic. All right, we're going to start really quickly without Jimmy because he's got some stuff that he wants to talk about. But I think the NFL season is upon us. It started.
Preseason started.
Right?
This is that time where if that's your thing, you get to see who might make the cut. What new players can you be excited about that might be able to come in and pull something off on a 3rd and 1? Which players are probably going to get the boot?
Did anybody sign Kaepernick? Nope.
Not to my knowledge, no.
Nope,
no.
They didn't. And so, I don't watch a lot of professional sports on television. I really love a live game. I especially love basketball. And Jimmy went crazy this week when he discovered who was coming to LA.
Oh, yeah, LeBron James.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he hadn't heard about that.
So, I don't watch, I like basketball, and I will watch occasionally a boxing match on the weekends. Those are gruesome. I think I can watch one. But when when NFL is... They're still, are they still like the union? They're having debates about whether or not what's going to happen in the coming year, right, regarding kneeling?
I love you. Yeah, I mean, apparently you're going to be faced with a penalty. You're going to be faced with a fine, and they're using the whole, you're an employee of us, Durbadum. It's like, okay, well, back in 2009, you decided to exploit the players to promote the military. So I kind of think that goes out the window. If you're going to do that, they have the right to kneel. That's what I think.
I love it. Just such a bizarre, kind of, I don't know, it's scary. It's so fascist, the idea that we had to make sure that people were volunteering for wars that, 70% of the country don't support these wars? And so we have all these people that are going, and suddenly it becomes this military rally that, I don't know, can you imagine that? I mean, really, it's weird that that's happening at a sporting event. It's weird, everybody. That's weird.
Well, it's always been their subtlety, and I feel like it was just really given a big shot in the arm around 2009. If that was, I think that was the year. But yeah, like now it's it really is. It's a war rally.
And I was reading this thing that was regarding the NFL and football in general in America, and in the turn of the century, in the early 1900s, there was a politician that came out. Sorry, I can't remember that. And he thought that he was saying that that this is a gruesome sport, and it's just it's so awful physically for the players. And one of the presidents, Roosevelt, he said, no, this gives men grit. This is a part of what they need to do. This is, if they're not fighting a war, this is like war. Something to that effect. So it's very much part of the fabric of Americana. Football is.
I enjoy the game. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I enjoy the sport. I think it's a really neat sport. The NFL, even casting aside the political stuff, the NFL has been incredibly frustrating in recent years, just with the fact that they don't even know what a catch is anymore. If you ever see people at a sports bar watching an NFL game, whenever somebody scores, if it's their team, they will go like this. They'll be like, because they don't know if it's going to count or not. And it's just gotten to the point where, I don't even enjoy watching the game as much anymore at all for a number of reasons. Some of them being political, others just they're taking the fun out of the game. I mean, I get it. Going through the replay, it helps you make sure you make the right judgment call. You want to be fair. I get it. But it's just gotten ridiculous. If it hits the ground, but you have possession, and when did you actually have possession, and when did, okay. It's not fun. We're 2 years away from them drafting attorneys. We are 2 years away. Each team is going to have an attorney. That they're going to go out on the field. People are going to just cheer on the debates. They're going to be like, negotiate.
I was just thinking about, how everybody's worried that robots are going to take their jobs, right? Which is, it's as if people that are creating the robots haven't remembered that robots don't spend money. and their positions and their money won't ever go back into the economy. So people who have these jobs, blah, blah, blah. But can you imagine that they decided that let's have robots play football? They're not going to do that. You want to know why? Because you want to see the strength and the agility of these athletes that are off the chart. I don't even understand how they can play any of these games. I don't know. John, you want to weigh anything about football? You like football, John? He has tattoos.
I only like sports where there are hockey sticks involved.
Okay.
That's my favorite, too. Hockey's my favorite sport, too.
Whether it's hockey or something that you invented that uses a hockey stick, that's the only sport.
I guess hockey is like such a great game to watch, such a great sport to watch live. But I swear to God, anytime I watch it on TV, I can't follow the puck.
Oh, see, I love it on TV, but live, there is nothing like it. A lot of people that don't connect with hockey, the question I always ask them, I'm like, have you ever been to a game? Usually the answer is no. Because, like, most people, like, when they see it live, it's just so cool.
Oh, yeah, even the smell of the stadium. It smells so good. Like, you smell the ice.
I never thought of that. I never thought of it that way.
Smell the ice. All right.
Dude, the hockey smell, man. Have you ever just smelled?
That's my pitch for the NHL next season. Smell the ice.
Smell the ice. Wow, people have something to say right now. That's going fast, right? Am I wrong?
People feel strongly about hockey one way or the other. Maybe they don't like it. Maybe they don't like it.
Hockey is boring.
I don't see how you can. What?
Listen, haters, you
I
need
don't
to
know
knock
what to
off
say.
the crap. So, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about a lot of things. We've got a silly question. This is from Ryan Miller. It's a silly question, but it's been aggravating me. Wow. At the beginning of your podcast, you have a soundbite of Anderson Cooper. What does he say?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know.
Do you remember exactly? Because it's hard to hear.
You know what? It's blah, 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 teabagging.
It's hard to hear when you're teabagging?
Yeah,
is that what he's saying?
Yeah,
oh,
it's hard to
kidding.
hear
So that's what
when you're teabagging.
It's hard to hear when you're teabagging. That's hilarious. So that's what it is.
That's exactly. Good.
That's awesome.
See, Ron also is one of the people that listens again to the radio show every time before it's released. So we have Mark Van Landuit. Shout out to Mark up north of California, and Ron. They handle the podcast.
Yeah, and that song's been around before I was part of the show. That song's been around a minute, or that intro, or whatever you call it. So
when Sarah Palin was running for office.
Yes.
So that's when we collected that.
So that's what he's saying. Oh, that's so funny.
Hey, well, I hope that answered your silly question on the super chat. This is Wesker75. Wesker75. Thanks for everything from Munich, Germany. Come visit us.
Prost, Wester. I'm probably saying Prost. That's probably, sorry about that. But, you know, yeah, I love Munich. Munich is such a cool place. Such a cool place.
I've never been.
It's a blast.
I've never been in Germany, and I hear it's fantastic.
It's amazing. I love Munich. I mean, Berlin's probably one of my favorite cities in the world. I love Berlin, and they're very different. But I dig Munich too. All the beer gardens, and so I'd love to come visit Munich. And I know they got English-speaking comedy over there in Munich and in Berlin. So
I'm a little bummed. I'm gonna have to admit this. When you say I'll have some beer and stuff like that, here's my problem now.
You don't drink beer?
No, I enjoy a cocktail and I enjoy beer. I got 2 drinks in me. That's it. Then I go to sleep. That's awful. How much can you drink whiskey?
We'll just have you can do a thing of beer. You can get the half pint
or the flight,
and then buy a coffee after, and then you can keep going.
Okay, I'm gonna start that.
And the beer over there is quite good.
Right.
I mean, I like a good cocktail too, but over in Germany, the beer is quite good.
Okay, I'm going to tell you my favorite thing that I did when I was in London, and this has to be 20 years ago. We did a pub walk. Have you ever done those pub walks in London? Those are fantastic. Have you done those?
No, I've never been to London.
Oh, that's great. That's really fun. Where you go through a neighborhood in the evening, and we did it during December, and it was beautiful. It was fun. It was cold, and every time you go to a certain pub, then you'd figure out the best pub, and then you'd have fish and chips. What a great night! What a great night that was. Wow, I love that. All right, Big Baby Zubas. Hello, Big Baby Zubas. Fox Sports already uses robots. Let's go, Red Wings.
Red Wings, Who's your team, John?
I mean, I'm just going to go for my local teams,
Okay,
my Ducks or the Kings.
Okay.
They really upset people. I like them both.
I don't want to choose.
Oh, yeah, both sides hate you if you like the other one.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense. See,
It's like politics.
as far as, because, like, I grew up in Pittsburgh, so Penguins are my team. So as far as, like, Anaheim or LA, it's like, well, whatever has cheaper tickets, that's where I'll go. Wherever I can afford the tickets and can get to the stadium on time.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I'm going.
Parking's easier in Anaheim.
Parking's so easy in Anaheim.
Yeah.
They do that thing, you can park, and it's right across the street from the game, and it's like $5.
That's
But
a big deal.
you got to get to Anaheim. Whereas in LA, not quite as easy, but you're just going to downtown.
It's true.
So, you weigh it out. I've been to Anaheim a couple times. I've never been to a game at LA yet.
I have to say that I think naming stadiums after corporations sucks the fun out of stadiums. Because I remember it used to be Angel Stadium. It was always Angel Stadium. Now isn't it something like the Edison Stadium or something like that? General Electric.
Edison Field.
That sucks. I just think that's awful. It should have been. I think once it's called a stadium, that's like a landmark.
Well, where the Ducks play used to be called the Pond. It was so cool. It was called the Pond.
It was called the Pond.
What a
They
cute
changed
whimsical
it?
name. Well, it's called like the Honda Center now. Honda Center.
It's so gross. It's so. I don't. I don't know. I think that's stupid.
Come see your favorite team at the Military Industrial Complex Center this weekend.
That's right. Patrick Parcival. The means of production must be democratically controlled.
Agreed.
Okay.
I have two teams. Wait, who is that? We missed one.
Oh yes, read that one.
Giovanna. I have two teams. Dallas Cowboys and whoever is playing against the Patriots. Fair enough.
Wait a minute. Are the Patriots the city-owned team?
No,
What am I thinking of?
that's Green Bay. That's Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Green Bay Packers, yeah.
That's the way to go,
Yeah.
right? So the whole city, owns that team. That's fantastic. Wouldn't that get? That would be the way to get loyalty and everything like that. Plus, anyways, all right. So that was our super chats. We had Bill Binney on yesterday. Jimmy Skype with Bill Binney will be releasing that, and we're talking this. He's going to be releasing shortly. We have the debate about those awful third-party voters in Ohio who screwed up things.
What were they thinking? Participating in a democracy.
The
nerve of them.
Yeah,
The nerve.
I was thinking after we did that video, it's like soon, like people that are running for the PTA. They're like,
Yeah, right? When are they going to? They're like, you know what, Green Party, stop running in a presidential. Now's not the time. Focus on smaller things. Okay, we have someone running for Congress. No, now's not the time. Like, okay,
right? That is, if I were running for student council in high school, I'd run on the Green Party platform.
They're like, now's not the time for your protest nomination.
By the way,
Donut Fridays are at stake.
Right? That is crazy. By the way, I'm not working as a teacher. It's been, I can officially announce it, that after 30 years of dedicating myself to educating kids, I fled. I fled from the business, and now we're all working together on on the Jimmy Dore show. And I got a really nice paperweight from the school district. It's very pretty, and I got a certificate signed by Adam Schiff. So I'm very conflicted about it.
I can't stand that guy. I mean, I'm happy for you, but I can't stand.
I know.
I mean, good, but Adam Schiff.
So I
call him Adam Grip.
Yeah, it is Adam
Grip. That's appropriate for that guy.
I met with some friends from a little quasi-retirement lunch, and one of my friends, she runs the school newspaper. She's the teacher who's in charge of the school newspaper. And she is very conscientious, very intelligent. Patricia Deitch, she teaches advanced placement English, and she's really terrific and skilled professional. And the administration didn't like an article that the student editors published in an opinion piece. It was an opinion piece. And so you should know this, okay? Talking about just censorship that we have. Yes, of course, there's definitely censorship in schools because of certain funding that goes into it, and there's not a lot of freedom of speech. It's diplomatic speech, I guess. But what my one friend does in the high school newspaper is the principal has to preview the content. So the principal always gets to preview the content. So something controversial came out, like it was questioning, kids had a point of view of how they felt about the security on their campus. How do they feel or how did they feel about teachers being communicative with them, right? So they had a certain point of view, and an administrator called the teacher in and said, I'd like to talk to your class about this article and the things. And you know what she said? No. She told the administrator, no, you can't come into my classroom and talk to my students about this opinion piece. That's not, but you know what you can do? You can speak directly at an appointment with the two school editors. So the editors of the newspaper could speak to the administration. Although the administration had already had an opportunity to talk about the paper before, they had previewed it. So I don't miss that kind of stuff. It's bureaucratic. It's uncomfortable. It's somebody who's in a position of power that wants to impose their viewpoints. And to have an administrator say, I'd like to come into your classroom and talk to your students about journalistic integrity. Really what they're saying, I want to come and talk to your students and squelch their freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's a lot. That happens a lot. And I think, if anything, I was a school newspaper teacher once. I was the journalism teacher. Awful at it. Awful. I didn't want to do it. It was awful. It was at a middle school. I was no good at it. I was awful at it. That's not my cup of tea. I don't want to do that. But I certainly see the value of the school newspaper. And, my hats are off. All my hats are off. I've got a couple of hats. I've got a beret. They're off to all my friends that are returning to work in August.
Yeah, right.
August.
That's now.
That's gross.
It's coming up.
So kids are returning to school next week and the next 2 weeks.
It is still 7,000 degrees here in California.
And you know what? Here in the city of Pasadena, I don't want to brag, but most of their public high schools, 0 air conditioning.
Ugh.
They're sending their kids 0 air conditioning. And if you have a room full of 30 kids and it says on the, outside it's 80 degrees, it's not 80 degrees inside the classroom. It's approaching 90 or more.
When I was in high school,
not that long ago.
It was a while ago. But there was this, I think it was my junior year, somebody made a satirical newspaper and put it online.
Nice.
And it was making fun of the high school. And man, did that cause a controversy. They threatened to shut down our real newspaper because of it.
I don't understand why you would threaten to...
They were just really ticked off. I mean, I'm
going to blame somebody else.
Right. Well, exactly. Like they were like, we're going to just waive our power and just punish, everybody because of... And admittedly, I was not involved. I have no idea who was.
I think this is really funny.
I wish I could. It was really funny. Like, it was really, really funny. Like, I was one of the regular readers for sure. But they stayed anonymous. Like, nobody ever fessed up to it. Like, people had their guesses as to who it was. And it was like, I think I was like, it was a senior or a junior at least. Like, I wasn't one of the suspects or whatever, but they made this goofy satirical newspaper where they had these fake articles about the librarian, about different teachers, and it was like inside jokes and stuff. And it wasn't, it was kind of like juvenile, but not like super, super mean. But, that almost got our real newspaper shut down. So that was...
I don't know if we talked about this, but... when you teach, they actually have a thing called rate your teacher. Rate my teacher. Rate. Good God. Good God. And one time when my students, we were in the library, Gima D is in the room. You'll see the top of his hat. Yeah, now you see the top of his hat. Can you turn that down? Thank you. It's too much. Yes, he does. Brownie is in the room right now. Oh, so anyways, one time my students were in the school library, and I noticed that there was this thing on their screen that said, rate my teacher. And the kid, hid my score from me really quickly so I wouldn't be hurt by it. I'm like, why? What's wrong? And he says, well, your overall rating is a 3. I'm like, what's that out of? 5. I was okay.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Take that.
That's fine. Because I had statements written under Ms. Zamorano. It was like, Ms. Zamorano, she made me feel dumb. DUM. I can't fight that. You know what I'm saying? I can't fight that. I could go on the platform. So if you could go to Rate My Teacher right now and just say how great Zamorano was, that would be fantastic. Jimmy Dore has left the room. He was right here, and now he's left. All right, so
Do we have more?
let's go back to our questions. Bernie or guillotine 2020? You want to read this?
Okay. Before Alex Jones, YouTube was demonetizing and trying to silence Jamal Thomas. I know Jamal. I hadn't heard about that.
Hashtag never forget.
Thanks for letting us know. Jimmy, when are you going to perform in the Bay Area?
Hopefully soon.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll be there November 2nd and 3rd. November 2nd, I'll be in Sacramento. November 3rd, I'll be in San Francisco.
What venue in San Francisco? I
will
forgot.
be at Neck of the Woods in San Francisco. Tickets are available at RalphLagone.com.
Neck of the Woods. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
All right. Next question.
Remember that old movie Basketball? Yes, but it's been years and years. It's been a long time. They predicted that Preparation H Arena. Can't wait. I don't remember that part.
That's hilarious. Also, Sydney got to lift up the cup at the Joe.
That place, Preparation H Arena, they built it, but then it actually shrunk down to it's too small now.
Brilliant.
Hi, everybody. Jimmy Dore here. This is my
Are you switching to JD?
These are my backup shades.
What happened to your other shades?
I went out for sushi last night. I think I left them there. And that's a real pain because I buy mine. These are prescription sunglasses. And Ron has a place where he gets his sunglasses on the cheap. I don't know
That's
how.
right.
Now, do you have progressives?
Do I have...
Are your glass lenses progressives?
What do you mean?
So they're bifocals?
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
Because that's what they call them now. They don't call them bifocals.
Oh, really?
They call them progressive.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right on.
So when the girl or when the woman does my glasses, she has to like sit there and measure me and put a dot here and all this stuff. So I don't know how you can get.
So I go to Zenny.com. And all I do is I have my prescription from the eye doctor. Right. You just fill it in, right. And then you can make any pair of sunglasses. You just pick the darkest lens available, and then they are just sunglasses. So you can pick any frame you want and just have them as sunglasses. And it works great. I've never been disappointed with anything. I have 2 pairs of prescription sunglasses.
I'm going to have to try Zenny.com because
that's where these are from.
I can't pay that kind of money for a pair of glasses again. They're like $400 or $500.
I've not paid more than $30. These were $25.
Okay, so that's what I'm going to try. I have to do that. I can't. Like I don't mind paying top price for something that's quality that you need. You know, like healthcare, glasses, things like that. You know, marijuana. But but it's kind of prohibitive, especially if you lose your sunglasses.
Jimmy, it looks like you're doing like a travel log now.
I am. Hi, welcome to. This is a podcast, Travel Stories. How are you? I'm your host, Jimmy. We were
the desert.
In the desert, and
there was sand there.
Is that the Sahara?
Then we found water.
We found a lot of water. Look at that. Okay, so I have a couple things I want to talk about today. Why isn't this okay?
Wait a minute. This is from Peter, version 1. Your complaint about corporate names: Verizon Wireless and Dominus Rex. Tell her that, because I was complaining about how like when Angel Stadium changed to something like the Edison Stadium, it's gross corporate names for stadiums. Like it takes the romance out of the stadium.
It certainly takes the charm out of it.
Charm.
Hey, it's Seiko Field. Fuck off. Hey, look, it's what is that one play? It's Bank of America Field. There's another one. They changed. What was Seattle? They used to have a great name for their park, right? Oh, Candlestick Park in San Francisco.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. It's now called.
Is it called something else?
I think it's called Seiko Park or something.
Really?
Let's Google that.
John, you're on it. Google it. Candlestick. You got to get busy here, John.
When I moved to Los Angeles, I stopped following sports because when I moved to Los Angeles, the move made me realize that sports don't matter at all. They don't matter, and especially when the people start to become younger than you that you're watching on TV, it made me feel weird. Like I'm watching guys younger than me do something for. It was just weird, especially when I would watch college football. It made me feel weird. And then you realize it's over. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. And neither does college sports actually matter a little, in the sense that you have pride for your school because you went to that school, and those people chose that school to go there and everything. But professional athletes don't give a shit about your city. They don't give a shit about your team. They don't give a shit about you. It's all about, well, they're going to pay me more money. Could you imagine that? So it's not really a relationship out of mutual love. It's can you imagine saying to your wife or your husband, hey, I'd like to stay with you, but this woman's going to pay me more money. I got to take off. So that's what it is for a professional athlete. And sports don't matter. So I stopped following. Did we get any?
Candlestick is down.
Well, Candlestick itself, yeah.
It was
Paul
demolished.
McCartney was the last event there.
Oh, so that's
I tried to find the replacement. I couldn't find.
Speaking of corporate names, though, the 49ers moved to Levi's Stadium.
There you go.
But they didn't
Levi's Stadium, the Gene Levi's.
That's right. Fantastic.
All right, I'm going to read a couple statements and questions up to 225 because they're kind of interacting with what we just said.
Okay.
And then you can get ready for whatever you want to get ready for. Does that sound good, gents?
Yes, we have some. Let me just tell people what's coming up.
What's coming
A
up?
couple months ago, the Democrats quietly adopted a ban on fossil fuel company donations. Why quietly? Shh, don't tell anybody we're being ethical. Right? That's true. So they did keep it. Don't tell anybody. Well, we've got an update on that, but we also have an update on what the Obama administration officials are doing since they left the White House. The answer just may surprise you, or will it? Plus, there was a massacre in Yemen of children. They bombed a school bus. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being on a bus and a bomb hits your bus? It's like Private Ryan shit, but for kids. And so we're going to cover that. But the more important, or the angle we're going to take, I don't know, more important. The angle we're going to take is that MSNBC actually covered it. They allowed Chris Hayes to cover it for almost 2.5 minutes. Then they had to get back to Russia. So that was 57 minutes of Russia, 56.5 minutes of Russia, 2.5 minutes of a massacre of 50-some children. Did they get the final number on that? Can someone check what's the final number?
John's on it.
Okay, so let's go to and then we're going to do that. So we're going to take a look at his coverage of that, and then we'll go over to you, Steph, right now, and we'll take some of these questions.
All right, so we got some questions and statements. This is from Tara Thralls. Those damn Democrats, how dare they vote for their own candidates? The nerve! They should have voted green. We could have won with their help. Nice! That's very nice, Tara. I like it. Omet Asik, thank you very much. Stephanie, I hear Adam Schiff's gifts are cursed and with bad karma. Best to cleanse it and salt the fire and just throw it away. You know what I'm going to do? I'll take a photo of it and throw it away. My mom's like, that's so pretty.
You can just cover up his signature.
Yes.
And I'm sure it's still like a nice thing.
Yes, it is
So
pretty
just-
classy. Cool Blue 71. Steph, I grew up in the 1970s and 1980s in the Detroit, Michigan area. School system started a new season the week of Labor Day. That's right. That's the American way to start school, is after Labor Day. Anything else, Russians. That's my point. Joseph Ballin, can I say that? As a Maoist, I fully support Alex having access to a nationalized Facebook page in a gulag. In all seriousness, Alex threatened to shoot Robert Mueller, and his followers have murdered people, so I think he should be in jail. Well, and you know what? If he did do these kind of things, isn't it our judicial system is supposed to manage that?
Yeah, if he violated free speech laws, let a real court of law decide that, not Mark Zuckerberg and his friends.
And then Joseph Ballin comes back, Jimmy, and says MSNBC covered Yemen for the first time yesterday in 2 years. On Espanol, dos años. Very bilingual. Radical Minds. Go ahead. You can read those, buddy.
Okay. Gold is trading 201 in terms of promises for ounces. I'd love to hear you talk finance.
Jimmy. Jimmy, you want to talk finance about gold?
Are you investing in gold?
No. Although, it's all about, like anything, it's all about the timing.
The what?
With gold. You got to get the timing right. And it's just like with the stock market. So right now, they make us put money. Well, when I say they make, everyone says you have to put money in a 401k or something similar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I never saved for retire. I was a comedian. I didn't fucking, if it didn't work out for me, I was going to hang myself. That was my plan. That was my plan. Luckily, it worked out. And so now we're trying to be responsible and try to plan for our life, which I've never planned for my life before, except do comedy. And so we go to see these financial planners and what have you, and they say put your money in the 401k. No, I don't want to. So I think what I actually have is something closer to an annuity, which is, I don't know. But anyway,
I hate the whole thing. I hate that I have to invest money in Wall Street at all.
I'm with Steph. I don't want to put money in Wall Street. So I'm thinking this year I'm not going to put any money in that because the Wall Street's going to crash. It's going to crash. They're deregulating it again. They're doing all the same shit again. So it's going to crash again. So what I'd rather is just like pay the tax on it and put it in and just keep the money.
I don't. You know what? I think once you see what's being taxed, I think that's something to look at. That's the whole thing about they tax.
I know.
Our system is screwed up.
But now we put all this money into the stock market, and then wait till you see how all that money goes away when it crashes. So you think taxes are a lot? Wait till you have nothing. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know why you have to say that with a smile on your face.
Okay.
That's my feelings. Greens run candidates at all levels for decades, but you only hear about our presidential candidates and very little about them. Yeah. You know what I heard? One of the first things I heard is they handcuffed your Green Party presidential candidate for 8 hours before a debate. Well, that's democracy.
Yeah.
Peter version 1. What are your New York dates? We don't have them. Remember, give me till the end of August. Really, I think everybody's going to be a little bit more relieved, and you'll be able to make your travel plans accordingly. Reefer here. Reefer, I don't know if you asked a reefer question last week. I don't remember seeing it. With the reefer question, do you have a favorite strain?
Yeah, there's this pineapple kush that I really like. And I forget the name of it. And then there's this other thing called Dr. Nice Guy that I really, really like a lot. And I forget the name of the exact
I definitely
pineapple.
want a little Dr. Nice
What's
Guy.
The pineapple? I forget the full name of it, but it's really pleasant. And it tastes like pineapple.
No. I think Jimmy got something once with like blueberry, and it tasted like blueberry. That's crazy. I don't even know how they do that. How do they do that, Reaper?
Make something cool even cooler.
Jimmy, what would the official Jimmy Dore weed strain be called? And its effects.
So I can't believe that last week we were talking about Orrin Hatch. Remember when he took off his imaginary glasses?
Yes.
And we were saying we should come up with a pot strain for him. And I was like, we're just calling it the Hatch. Of course, it should have been called Orrin Hash.
Yeah.
Someone wrote that in the comment. Like, why didn't I can't believe none of us thought of that. Orrin Hatch. It's sitting right in our fucking faces. Oh, what should we call it? Orrin Hatch.
Orrin Hatch? No.
Anyway.
Loved Rogan too. Oh well, what would that be your official Jimmy Dore strain?
What?
Orrin Hash?
Oh no, that's for Orrin Hatch. Mine would be I don't have to think about it.
Your own strain.
Would it be a hybrid or would it be?
It would
definitely be a
hybrid.
Yeah.
It'd be a James Patrick Hasheny.
There you go.
My name is James Patrick Anthony Dore.
Hasheny?
James Patrick Hasheny. I don't know. I have to think of it. I'll think of a cool. Yeah, we should come up with our own strain of weed. I used to be into the sativas. But now I like an indica dominant hybrid because I'm too stressed and I need to relax.
And that was the indica. That's okay. I'm still gonna read up till 2:25. The comments. Okay. Loved Rogan too. How does it feel seeing your fan base spread worldwide?
It feels fantastic, actually. I did George Galloway's show. He's a former MP in the UK Parliament, and he has a radio show over there in the UK. And so we did his show. You should see. It's so funny when people introduce you, right? It's so nice when people are nice and they flatter you. But it's just at some point you're like, come on. When people give you a build up a little bit too much.
Plus, that usually stresses you out.
Now I feel like I have to deliver. I was like, oh, you're really building me up. People are gonna be disappointed if I don't fucking blow the roof off the place. Anyway, so go ahead. Next question.
Next question. Please interview Heiner Flessbach, critical German economist, on neoliberalism. That's a great recommendation. Euro crisis, austerity, government spending. Since you like Mark Blythe and Richard D. Wolff, you will love him too. That's a great recommendation. I'll copy that, and then Ron will handle it. And they actually, Zane Jamerson said later on, you should get Cornel West, Chris Hedges. Chris Hedges, what is it? That in
Chris
September?
Hedges is coming. Chris Hedges is
in between
coming.
his busy schedule. We're so excited.
Mm-hmm.
And, Jimmy has met with Cornel West when we did DC last year. Ralph Nader, though, Jimmy. We've got to get Ralph on.
So they want me to come, they want me to go interview Ralph Nader. They've contacted us. So there's a museum, I guess, that's not too far away from New York City. Maybe it's in Connecticut. I don't know. But Ralph has a museum.
Look it up, John.
Yeah, could you look that up? And so they're like, hey, we'd love to have you come and interview Ralph. Ralph would love to, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, when we come to New York, we'll set it up. And we just don't have our New York date yet. So as soon as we get our New York date, we will contact the Nader people and we will have an interview with him. There's so many things. Of course, he's right about just about everything. I mean, I've never heard him be wrong about stuff. So, and what I mean by that, I mean like his perspective is always correct. He always knows which way to look at it. So, like with this, everybody's having these different opinions on the banning of Alex Jones, right? So now, a lot of people have the wrong perspective, right? Just like they have the wrong perspective about Trump because Trump excites their lizard brain, and so they are willing to accept things without any evidence. And what Bill Binney said, we interviewed Bill Binney yesterday, by the way. I'm going to drop those videos this weekend. It's much more depressing than you think. And the intelligence community's control of our culture is much more than you think. And it's a messed up thing. And it's really happening. And, if you want to know how propaganda works, it's Russiagate. And it's a total saver for the system. It's a total saver for the establishment system because nobody is now examining the system that gave us Trump or the system that gave 63% of the country to be without enough money to cover a $1,000 emergency or quarter of our children in poverty, 30 million Americans without health care, 50% of all wage earners earn 30 grand or less. This is what Barack Obama left us. That's why we got Trump. And that's what people don't understand. They think it's because there's a Green Party or a DSA party or a Libertarian Party. That is not why. Those people would not participate in your fucking elections if they weren't allowed to express themselves and their conscience and vote for third-party people. So half the country already isn't voting. Why don't you go focus on those people? All right, some more questions?
I have two questions, one statement. Please do this from Edward. Please do a segment about Ben Shapiro's bullshit PR stunt about AOC, and he's claiming to be a victim, being called sexist by her when she didn't. That's a statement, FYI. Canadian Dan came back to say, dying to hear what you thought of Saudi Arabia threatening Toronto with a 9/11 attack. Could be the best confessional since OJ wrote If I Did It. And then the last one is, hey gang, good to see you haven't been deplatformed yet, isn't it? How do you feel about an internet Bill of Rights? Now, Jimmy, we're back to you, buddy.
So Ben Shapiro challenged Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to a debate.
Yeah.
And she's not accepting the bait, right? Because just like I said, because somebody might be debates are most of the time unsatisfying. So you know how my position on Russiagate, and it differs from the Young Turks and Cenk Uygur. So They think I'm completely wrong about this, and I know for a fact that they're completely wrong about it. They're not completely wrong about it. They're just overemphasizing it like the rest of the media. And so anyway, when I saw Kyle Kalinske debate Cenk Uygur, completely unsatisfied, right? When I saw Glenn Greenwald debate Jim Risen, and who was the moderator of that? That was
via the Intercept.
Yeah, why am I blanking?
It was Glenn, and then
I'll think of his name.
I forget the moderator.
And anyway, that was also very unsatisfying because there isn't a referee saying, "Oh, that's an unfair tactic," and we have to look up that fact. And it's just, you know what? I'd rather just do my show and present my arguments, and that's what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is doing. She just present. And I was offered to do that at Politicon, come down and have a debate with the right wing, and that's just not, it's not my thing.
Yesterday, though, just for fun, I did tweet Tommy Loren, and I said, "Hey, I don't have Ben Shapiro's money, but for $12 and some good pot, I'll debate you. Let's do it." And I was like, "Let's do it on your show because you're way more famous."
That's awesome.
Good for you.
Yeah. Oh, so one more thing about I saw someone tweet back at Ben Shapiro about this, and they said, "Hey, here's a challenge. Why don't you run for Congress?" That's our challenge. You want to challenge her to a debate? How about we challenge you to run for Congress, like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is.
Hey, Jeremy Scahill.
Jeremy Scahill. Yeah. That's right. Okay.
Thank you, chat people.
Thank you, chat people.
A bunch of people.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah. So that's just one example of how they're very unsatisfying, and they can be. Again, it was fun to watch Kyle Kalinske go on Fox News and hammer those guys. That's fun for me. So I think it's ironic that Sean Hannity reading out Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's platform, he's doing that to try to scare people from it, and it's like a commercial for her. So it helps her. He's like, "Oh, she wants to give everybody medical care, no matter how much money you have." People at home who have all gone broke, or someone in their family who've gone broke, or are worried that they're going to go broke when their kid gets sick, are sitting there going, "That sounds like a good idea, Sean." That sounds like 73% of Fox and Friends viewers are pro Bernie Sanders Medicare for all. 73%. Remember that poll we showed you? And they even tried to gaslight their own viewers in the question. They left out the fact that it saves trillions of dollars. So, I forget, what was that question? Was that it? Did I answer it?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
You did. Jimmy, Samuel Norway mentioned a strain for you. Double Dore.
Oh, I like Double D.
That's pretty good.
It would be something like Open Door or Mystic Door or something like that.
Somebody said Jimmy Dank.
Yeah.
And then somebody else said Jimmy Dorito.
I love all.
A lot of people have clever ideas. Those were two that I caught.
I got another one. This one's from DK's acronym, and it's
my friend,
Front Door.
Front Door. Jimmy Dore, don't slam him.
What do you think about Back Door?
I think that's what Rich Jenner used to say. Jimmy Dore, don't slam him. I like that Jimmy Dank. My friend Boris Hamilton used to call me Dorito. That was his nickname for me. Hey, what's up, Dorito?
When was this? Was this like childhood, or
this is like 50 years ago when I started comedy? No, this was when I.
I didn't know if this was a childhood friend. I didn't know.
Boris Hamilton. I was just curious. Did he ever make it famous, Boris? Did he ever get super famous?
Look it up.
Boris Hamilton comedy.
Might be a writer on a show, probably a show that we don't know about.
Yeah,
they all turn out to be hit shows.
I'm out of touch. It's weird when I find my friends like, "Oh, I didn't know you had a show for 10 years."
Yeah. Yikes.
Yikes! Oh, I'll see my friends in restaurants in Los Angeles. Friends that I had like when I started comedy here and stuff like that. I came up with through Largo and whatever. And like I won't say I like try to avoid them because I don't know what they've been doing, and I don't want to not know. Like they're probably on the biggest show in the world, and I don't know it. And then so I know that's how crazy I am. Yeah. Anyway, so next question.
Do you have an answer for something? What were you answering?
It says that Boris was known for Alias and the Naked Trucker and T-Bone Show.
Oh, he was on that?
Yeah, that's what it says.
That Naked Trucker, I saw them live. They really were funny live. I don't know about their show. I don't know if I saw their
The show was good.
Their show was good.
Yeah, it was
I'm
fun.
sure it was great. But their live, no, I saw them live. I loved it. I love those guys.
Should be somebody has another strain. This is from Tim Bishop. Cognitive dissonance Dore.
That's funny.
Oh, okay.
Someone said doors of perception.
Oh!
That's pretty clever.
How about this one?
A couple people said doors of
We've got
perception.
Jonathan said Dumbledore. We've got what? You know him, Matt? I don't know. Revolving door.
I like that.
Heaven's door. Don't knock it.
Jimmy Crack door.
Let's get.
I don't care.
Wrong kind of smoke.
Thank you, real Jingy.
We are at 5,000 viewers.
All right.
Woo! Time to go get drunk. That's what I'm going to do. Can I drink on camera? Can I have champagne? That kind of stuff? You don't think so? You don't know? Oh, he's got to check it.
I actually don't know the answer to that.
Live streams, I can't, chug.
That's true.
Doug Benson has a show where they smoke pot. Hey, by the way, I didn't put together the segment, but I want to put together the segment. It's not just Alex Jones that they've been banning. They've been banning lots of lefty pages, as we told you they would. And Matt Taibbi actually wrote an article about it on August 2nd. So right before they dropped the hammer on Alex Jones. And let me just read you some really quick, and then I'll do a regular segment about it.
What do you think about Jimmy Do Re Mi Fa Sol La Ti Do? That's the name of another strain, Jimmy. That's
Too
from
long.
Tricolor Tiger. Too long. You're high by the time you finish.
That's right.
Hey, Randy Credico got subpoenaed
Yes.
by Mueller.
Mm-hmm.
Randy Credico got subpoenaed by fucking Mueller. They're really going after. First of all, it looks like they're going after Roger Stone because Roger Stone threatened Randy Credico and his dog.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't do that. That's witness tampering. So that's a felony.
Okay.
So they have all of his emails. Somehow Mueller got it. Well, first of all, the NSA has all our emails. But somehow Mueller, they had access to all of Randy's emails and shit. So they know all this shit that's
They
happened.
found one, and it was like, "I'll get you, Randy, and your little dog too."
Yes. Yes.
Is that verbatim?
Roger Stone's pretty
No,
close.
I know it. We did a
Yeah.
segment on
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking for Steve-O.
What do you think about Slow Burn Door?
That's pretty good.
That's from
I
Raymond.
like that.
I have Blue Man says Hody Door. Door Score. That's from Trey. Dora the Explorer. No.
Sour door. That's pretty cool.
So here's what I wrote to a friend of mine who was on the other side of this Alex Jones thing, and he thought it was okay, and he thought it was okay because Alex Jones doxes people. And specific, I guess, to Sandy Hook people, they say, I don't know if he did this, that he would give out, and by the way, people say that he had hate speech for transgenders, but nobody could ever point to a link. Well, they took down his fucking thing, so. But a lot of people dispute that he called for violence against transgenders. A lot of people dispute that. Anyway, this is what I wrote to my friend. I said, if doxing is illegal, then, and he did that, and it can be proven, then he should be prosecuted. End of story. If that's illegal, is that wrong to do? Is it wrong to dox people? If that's illegal, then but I know this. I know every time you get arrested, if they feel like it, they put your picture in the fucking paper and your address.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, not convicted, just arrested. Your picture goes right in the paper with your ad. If they want to. There are papers in this country that's all they are. It's like the police blotter. Here's who got arrested this week. That exists.
Yeah, I think people are like, well, it's complicated. It's like I don't think it's super complicated.
It's not super complicated at all.
Here's the thing: I think our free speech laws are pretty decent. Are they absolutely perfect? I'm sure they're not. Nothing is, but they're pretty decent. And you know what I think they're better than? Anything Mark Zuckerberg or anyone else
Right.
in Silicon Valley could come up with. So let's follow those laws and make these big behemoths utilities so they have to follow those laws.
Well, people.
I mean, how is it more complicated than that?
People misinterpret what you say by that, Ron. Because when we say it should be utility and regulated, they go, "You want the government to regulate it?" No, I want to treat the platform with the protections of the First Amendment. That's what I mean.
Right.
I don't mean I want some bureaucrats in there telling everybody what they can say and what they can't say. No, what I want is for those platforms to be protected like everything else is protected. And did you know that they go, well, if Facebook and YouTube could get sued if he does something and someone, did you know that can't happen? Did you know that's not allowed to happen? Did you know that in 1996 they passed a law to make sure that couldn't happen? So now, if let's say somebody goes on Facebook and they put a post that says kill X, Y, and Z, and then people go out and kill X, Y, and Z, you can't sue Facebook for that. Why? Because there's a law.
Oh, uh-oh.
Oh, stand by. Stand by. Good there.
I just spilled the coffee on my...
Uh-oh, that coffee went on that keyboard.
Turn off the computer. Hold on.
Should we go and stand by?
Should I unplug?
Hold on.
Okay.
Could take more than that. We powered through.
We're back on our Saturday.
Kind of smells like a donut shop in here a little bit, but other than that, we're regrouping. It'll be fun.
Somebody just said, why can't Ron fill in while Jimmy's away right now?
Here I am. Here I am.
Here.
There was a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
And we had to do that. We had to do the spray to make sure we don't get bugs in here. But
and
everything's okay.
We're back. So I'm going to read a couple questions or comments, and they get our next computer set up. So I know where we left off at. It was like 2:31. So stand by.
It's right around
here. Here we go. Nader.
We have a little.
I read that one.
Oh, we're already that far?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we read that one and that one, that one.
Okay. So we're right after there.
And then we have does merging. I don't know if I read that one out loud.
No.
Please interview Jennifer Briney sometime. Her research and documentation methods should be a journalistic gold standard in this day and age. Yes, I will copy and paste her name. And this is from Steve. Down in Cuba, there are some top-notch drugs meant to treat cancer and diabetes, which people actually can afford due to their social programs. Why can't we have access to them? Isn't that the big deal? Why can't we have access?
Well, because Cory Booker is worried about your safety, all right? He's looking out for all of us, Steve, and he's worried about our safety.
Right.
It has nothing to do with pharmaceutical money. Nothing at all.
Big Baby Zubas comes back strong. Jimmy doesn't like sports. He likes pro wrestling.
I like sports.
But you like wrestling. Proudfoots. Trump is a no good Nick Putin buddy. New sanctions against Russia over Skirball case. Russia economy takes a tumble. Thank you for that, Proudfoots. All right, let's go
it jumped on you. It did it again.
Didn't it? There we go. We're right back. You want to read right there from Samir?
Did you see the article? This is from Samir. See the article talking about how Russians influenced the alt-right rally that killed Heather Heyer? I did not see an article making that claim. But I'd be curious to see it. They usually accuse Russia of hijacking lefty movements like Black Lives Matter and DAPL and stuff like that. And so, but I've not seen what you're referring to. Have you seen anything about that? You haven't seen that either.
Emperor Forever says gold? ? I thought Bitcoin was the currency of the future.
You're wrong on both counts, Emperor Forever. The currency of the future is Ron Bucks, and they're available now.
I was like, Ron Bucks, really? My point about gold earlier, this is from Ex-Radical Minds. If you studied finance, you'd be enraged. LOL. Boy, yeah, you're right, Ex-Radical Minds. You are correct. From Anonymous, message was retracted. So mysterious. So mysterious. Interview Matt Kunnell of the Lib Socials Caucus, LP.
Mm-hmm. LP, that means it's like a full-length record. As opposed to, it's not an EP.
I don't know what the, acronyms, curses. Victor Figueroa. Now that you sold out to RT, does that mean I'm a Russian puppet because I'm still a huge fan?
We're going to plead the fifth, Victor.
Oh, God, I love that. Also, anyone who voted for Trump should be banned from voting. Oh, yeah. I can hear that next. Super Platino Man. Ben Shapiro wants to debate Cortez. Maybe Ron should debate Candace Owens.
Okay, I challenge Tommy Loren. We'll see if she accepts.
Yes. Westchester runs. Guys, check out PAC's World Funds for Socially and Ecologically Conscious Investing. Oh, really? I've never heard that. PAC's World Funds, copying, pasting.
I've never heard of that either.
Another, I don't know if I told you, Jimmy, but they did another strange magical mystery door. That's from Elliot.
That's pretty good.
I thought that was pretty good. There we go. Finally got that. Hey, do you think that the Saudis... Hey, what do you think about the Saudis shitting on Canada?
Not heard.
We might be discussing that this week. Peter version 1. Get a New York date. I want you to sign my TYT t-shirt.
Patience, Peter.
Dore's corrective perspective. Kush. Thank you, Watson.
I like it.
John McCarthy. All these Hillbot hypocrites claiming Alex Jones dual skit was a murder threat to Mueller were fine with Kathy Griffin pretending to behead Trump. I got your point there on that one. The Convo Couch says, thoughts on Trump making a deal with Putin to remove the white helmets, and now an estimated 1.5 million people are set to return home to Syria. Those are good topics. We haven't yet got to cover that. Frank Freil, I think I heard you talking about coming to Philadelphia sometime within the next year. That would be awesome. Fingers crossed. Philadelphia, what do you like in Philadelphia?
I like Philadelphia. The Art Museum is absolutely spectacular. They recently had, who was it? I think they had an exhibit on, what was that artist's name? They had a really cool exhibit, and I was there like a week before it opened, so I didn't get to see it. Dali. It was like a big Dali exhibit that they were opening, and I was there like a week before, and I was like, well, I got to come back, and I have not been back since. But I love Philly. Philly's a great city. A lot of my friends went to college there, and some of them still live out there. And, you know.
I'm telling you, by the end of August, we're going to have dates. All right? I promise. My goal is 6. I can get 12, if not more. All right. Jay Oliver. Oh, no. This was from Wildman Media. Trump isn't as bad as you think. You are the only lefties I listen to. I think it's a wise choice. Okay.
Thank you, Wildman.
Jay Oliver, you want to...
Why do progressives use the DNC's propaganda to prop Dems up? What are you referring to? They're not centrist, liberal, moderate, or the left. I agree. They're corporatists, neo-libs at home, neocons abroad. Terms matter. Voters fall for them. I think we need to stop. Yeah, I think a lot of these groups like that, I like to refer to them as conservatives in denial. That's what I like to refer to those groups of people as, because there's nothing remotely progressive about them. They would be considered right-wing in any other country, and they are basically right-wing here. I like to call them conservatives in denial, and by them I mean like the Democratic establishment and the like. Marcus, who I'll give a shout-out to because he kind of came up with this, I did call them Starbucks conservatives at one point. He coined the phrase cappuccino conservatives.
Oh, I like it.
I like it too. Like, that's another one I dig. So I'm with you. Verbiage does matter.
And you know, we were having this conversation earlier today, and the whole idea that I think there is definitely a mythology about President Obama, that a lot of the neoliberals who are suddenly, you know, being involved, they continue to characterize him like he was some sort of saint or you know, person to save us, and he wasn't. Look how many wars we're in, and he handed that all over to Trump.
Well, remember that person who called Barack Obama a moderate Republican? What was that guy's name? Barack Obama. Barack Obama did that. Barack Obama called Barack Obama a moderate Republican.
So they have now, these Republicans have now infiltrated the Democratic Party. And when I say that they're so similar, it's because they have the same donors donating to them. All right, so we have Richard says, I haven't seen anyone make the point that Ben Shapiro's offer to pay $10,000 to Ocasio campaign would have been illegal. The limit is $2,700. Thank you, Richard. Brian Stelter.
Is that actually him?
I can't imagine. Go ahead. You want to read it?
All right. So, yeah, there's no way it's actually him. Great piece on the server. All roads lead to Ukraine. Please connect with Lay Stern, CrowdStrike. Okay. Rabbit hole is deep. Since when does old USA care about former Soviet bloc? Brian, if it's actually you, I will give you $10 and a sandwich of your choice to come on your show and debate you about why a show called Reliable Sources does not belong anywhere near CNN. We'll have that debate. I'll give you $10. $10. A sandwich. You choose the sandwich. Brian, let me know. Let me know. I know the studio's right on Sunset. Let me know. I'll be there. $10 could be yours.
This is from the VFX by Art. George Manboy discusses the importance of the state market commons and household, and how politics only talks of just the market, right and state left. All right, thank you, Bree. For Guillotine 2020, Jimmy quotes Putin body.
Putin body.
Dore. That's a nice strain. Said 67, RUBS and Scribble. You gotta do it.
That's
I can't do this stuff. You do it.
This is like the.
See, he's the professor.
I'm not good. It's just like what's the shorthand, internet writing. RUBS and Scribble Poise all goes back to China plan to create a gold-backed future to compete with the dollar. We need reasons to sanction to hurt ruble. Russia's now hoarding gold and have a monopoly on EU oil.
Okay, I just have a question, Ron. What is the RU part?
I'm not quite sure what that refers to.
Okay, I don't know.
I don't know if it's like RU, or if it stands for So thank you for your thoughts.
And Scribble Boys?
I am bullshit.
I am bullshit. That'll be our new T-shirt. I am bullshit.
I am bullshit. Peter.
Yes, Bill Maher did smoke pot. I remember that. It was with Zach Galifianakis.
Okay.
I remember that. You can drink.
I thought they just meant in general. One time he was cool. He smoked pot.
Yeah, like you were wondering about the legality of doing it on YouTube. You can do it as long as you're not your advertiser's not going to get upset. You can get in trouble for that.
Our advertiser's not going to get upset.
You're not doing something dangerous. You're doing something dangerous. So if you're someone that was drinking and driving while they were streaming, that's a problem. But on your shows, I'm not getting super sloshed.
All right, I'm going to be cracking some. I don't know, popping some. I don't know what. I'd rather just smoke.
So we can drink in the studio. My plan on drinking while doing cartwheels on the roof. We're gonna have to nix that.
We don't have the cameras.
We can't. Yeah.
We have a couple GoPros.
Jacqueline says, Snopes fact checker editor. Interesting. I read this earlier, Jacqueline. Editor, I'm a fan. I've just got fired. Will you plug her next venture? I don't know. Who is Jacqueline?
Who she is.
Jacqueline, why are you being so mysterious with your friend's name, the fact checker?
Will you plug her? Who? Her?
The fact checker. Right. Stephen Butcher. Is that your real name or just your scary name? According to the NCCP, what? 43% of children in the U.S. are low-income households. 21% poverty is a conservative number. Yes, it is a conservative number. And don't tell me that this country cares about children with this number. FYI. All right, the Naughty Vegan, how are you? 420 equals give me more. Any Seattle updates? All I am finding out, bitches. Abigail, where'd you go?
Abigail, you disappeared.
Did you just jump? We're almost there. I feel close that we're right there.
Jumped on you. There we go. We're back.
Got it. There you go.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Shut the front door. This shit's awesome. Thanks, Abigail.
I think that's the name of the strain. I think that's a
Shut the front door.
Shut the front door. This shit's awesome.
It would have to be. It would have to be like a heavy indica if it was called "Shut the Front Door," because that's like one of those things. Like, yeah, man, when you just want to really mellow out, that's like shut the front door. I'm smoking some of this.
That's right, Abigail. Okay, DC 420 LA. That was worth a latte. Raul Malik, YouTube was behind this coffee accident. Alright, baby Gerald, coffee, it's worth the cost of the extended warranty. Oh. Pour another cup of coffee.
Coffee.
Coffee. Alright, there you go. I'll let you read, Raymond.
During your coffee break, I did a focus group with the Heritage Foundation and Brookings Institute. Prop branding winner, Golden Dore. That was a quick focus group.
Wow, nice focus group.
We weren't cleaning that long.
Man, Dan Campbell, Jimmy.
Oh, your laptop was your laptop needed a little caffeine injection.
That's see, I was trying to be honest. That was the
honest.
TBH.
Yes,
I'm learning as we go along. When is Jimmy coming to Phoenix? I'm telling you, we just added Phoenix to our list of to-dos. So I have a list, and the current conversion rate between Ron Bucks, more USD, question mark?
You know, Ron Bucks don't technically have a value per se right now, but there's a lot of potential for momentum. Invest in Ron Bucks today.
Steph, Ron, I went to Henry Rollins' live spoken tour, not only he is on the Russia train, was saying Connie Rice is great.
Henry Rollins said that?
That Condoleezza Rice is great, and she should be... What?
He also is famous for saying that he's a liar.
That's true.
I don't trust anything Henry says. He's famous for
does have that song. Somebody that went to his show said apparently he said Condoleezza Rice should be the next president. I can't imagine Henry Rollins saying that, but maybe he did. I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of things happening these days that are hard to believe. So you can come to me on that with that camera.
Ready? John?
You ready?
You're back on camera. Jimmy D.
And Jimmy D. Okay. All right, so that was a hell of a mishap with my cups. A full iced coffee. I just made it. And I usually put caps on it so that shit doesn't happen. But because we don't want to use plastic straws, we're using metal straws, and they can't put a cap on it with a metal straw. You put a cap on it with a plastic straw because it looks like it. Anyway,
you want another coffee?
That's because I'm being... Yeah, but I have to make it. That's because... So there you go. So that's because we're trying to do something good, trying to be environmentally conscious, and of course, no good deed ever goes unpunished. So that's why that happened. And now my computer is off and outside in the sun, trying to dry out. And Arno is on his way to his house to get his itty bitty computer screwdriver so he can open up my computer and make sure it's dried and nothing got broken. But I have a whole show ready for us on my computer. I don't have a show ready for us on this computer. And I can't turn on that computer to get it, download it to a thumb drive, because if you turn it on... Okay, so you understand the problem. So Arno says it'll be ready in 40 minutes. So fingers crossed. But right now I do have this.
Can I give you one more name of the strain?
Yeah.
Of the Jimmy Dore strain?
Yeah.
It's called... This is from Abigail. Fuck yes.
Okay, I like that. That'd be a good strain. So we've given... MSNBC has been given a hard time by fairness and accuracy in reporting, and by us, by a lot of people, because they don't cover Yemen. They're not covering the genocide in Yemen, but they're covering Russia 24/7, and they're covering Syria, but they won't cover Yemen. Why? Because we're complicit. The United States military-industrial complex is helping commit genocide and war crimes inside of Yemen. We're doing that. We're doing a thing called siege warfare. Siege warfare is a war crime. They just prosecuted someone just a few months ago in The Hague over siege warfare. So that's where you cut off supplies to people. So you're trying to starve them. You're keeping them from medical supplies. You're keeping them from clean water. All kinds of stuff. You're keeping them from them. That's called siege warfare. We're doing that. So this is what shows you that all wars are bullshit, especially right now, especially the war in Syria, because we're going to intervene in Syria because they chemical attacked 50 people. Well, we just bombed a bus in Yemen that killed kids. The original report was 29 kids. Now I think it's up to 58. Right? Did we get a final number on those kids?
We checked the number on the kids.
So here is So the side news, the side story, or the story within the story. So I saw some pictures yesterday of them literally picking kids out of rubble. I accidentally saw it, like I accidentally see horrible videos, and it was in a Twitter feed underneath this thing, and I'm like, what does that look like? And then all of a sudden they just pulled this little baby out of this rubble, and I was just like, Jesus Christ. And so I'm not going to show. I just can't. I don't have the emotional resiliency to show that stuff, so I'm not going to show it. There's plenty of places you can see that stuff, but I will show the MSNBC. I will show Chris Hayes covered this yesterday. So whenever Chris Hayes covers something important, it always makes news because most of the time they're not covering things that are important. They're not covering the news. What the MSNBC is doing is propaganda. They're a propaganda wing of the establishment and, of course, the Democratic Party and the establishment. And you know that Ed Schultz was fired because he wanted to cover Bernie Sanders, and the lefty news show, the cable news channel, wouldn't allow him to. And so they fired him because they're not really progressive. They're not really lefty. They're corporate. That's why Chris Hayes gets $30,000 a day, and he stands there in a $6,000 suit. And that's why he doesn't cover Yemen. They haven't covered Yemen on the whole channel for over a year. Not one story, but about 500 stories on Stormy Daniels. I'm not kidding, by the way.
So everything I'm finding...
About 500 to 1. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Everything I'm finding, the number's still at 56.
56.
56.
Okay.
Everything I'm finding right now.
So Chris Hayes... Chris Hayes is going to cover... Here's how he covers it. Let's watch. And so a lot of people are tipping their hat to Chris Hayes. Great coverage. Look at Chris Hayes covered the Yemen story. Chris Hayes covered Yemen on his news show. And I'm like, yeah, it's a fucking news show, and there was a massacre. Why wouldn't he cover it? Oh, that's right. Because he's not allowed to. So this is a big deal that he's allowed to tell you a smidgen of the truth about what's happening in Yemen. This is a big deal. Let's watch.
Pause.
Go back.
It's not okay.
We got a little feedback on this line.
Let's try.
So is it coming out there? Because it sounds like it's coming out of the
Yeah, it's only
TV.
coming for the TV.
So hang on.
Let's make sure something's
Let me try something.
Try it again right now.
You playing?
Okay. No. Okay, so let me do it.
System preferences are great. Do it right now.
Okay, so now it should be playing
Volume
through
over
your
there.
speakers.
Something has to be on. Something's off.
That's just feedback. That's just feedback on a couple lines. That happened, you wouldn't need me to tell
There we
you
go.
about it.
Okay,
That's
there we
great.
go. All right. We got it all working.
All right, ready?
So here we go now.
Thank you.
Okay. If I were to stand here on this broadcast and tell you that a foreign power had bombed a school bus full of American children, there would be no bigger story. We would be in a state of panic, horror, and mourning, and almost certainly immediate war. In fact, the thought experiment doesn't even work, because if that had happened, you wouldn't need me to tell you about it at 8:45.
At 8:45. This didn't even lead off his show. The United States complicit in murdering 56 children. Children. He didn't get to this to 45 minutes into his show. So there you go. Okay.
No minutes after it happened. Well, today, a foreign power did bomb a school bus full of children. Only it was Yemeni children, and the Saudi-led coalition that did that bombing is backed by us, by the United States. The images you're about to see are extremely disturbing, and it's because a school bus bombed in a crowded market was left utterly destroyed, resulting in the deaths of at least 50 people, and most of them are children. Injuries, scores more. According to the authorities in the Houthi-governed Sana'a region, those are the rebels who are fighting that war in Yemen, the Red Cross says its medical team has received the bodies of 29 kids, all under 15 years old, and is treating dozens more injured children and adults. This attack is part of a U.S.-backed, Saudi-led war in Yemen, and it began during the Obama administration. It has intensified under the Trump administration. It has prompted what NGOs call the biggest humanitarian crisis in the world. And I quote here with,
the biggest humanitarian crisis in the world, we're going to wait till 8:45. We're going to wait till 45 minutes into our news broadcast. Biggest humanitarian crisis in the world. We haven't covered it for over a year, not even mentioned it. So, and everyone's going, well, kudos, he's doing it now. So kudos, he's doing it now.
Indiscriminate and disproportionate attacks on civilians, denial of access to humanitarian aid, and the use of starvation as a weapon of war. Now, the horror of this specific attack prompted a howl of outrage from Democratic Senator Chris Murphy. He wrote, U.S. bombs, U.S. targeting, U.S. mid-air support, and we just bombed a school bus. The Saudi UAE U.S. bombing campaign is getting more reckless.
So now, when Assad was supposed to have chemically attacked and killed 30 people with chemicals, 30, we were supposed to bomb him now. And if Trump didn't bomb him, it was the proof that he was a treasonous president who was a Manchurian candidate, who didn't have our best interests at heart. We were supposed to bomb Assad in Syria because he killed 30 people with gas. We literally just killed 56 kids. Who's supposed to bomb us now? When do we get bombed? When does someone call us butchers? When are we called butchers? When does that happen? It never happens.
Killing more civilians and strengthening terrorists inside Yemen, we need to end this now. He's right. Our government, our public dollars are paying to kill Yemeni children, and it's our government and our representatives that can stop it.
Wow, look at that. He spent almost 2.5 minutes. Almost 2.5 whole minutes. And people are going nuts complimenting him for doing that. So, by the way, that's how you know the Syrian war is bullshit, because when they say we're doing it on humanitarian grounds, we don't give a fuck about dead people or dead babies or anybody. We're killing them on the regular. We're using starvation as a tactic of war. That's illegal. That's a war crime. We're war criminals. So you've just been lied to. So these people running around with their hair on fire about how Putin is a butcher, Putin is bad. Look what we're doing, and we've been doing. Bombing hospitals, bombing school buses, supporting Netanyahu as he picks off journalists and assassinates medics in broad daylight. And this happens, and hey, we'll wait till we're about 45 minutes in, and then Chris will speak in very dulcet tones. Did you notice he didn't get upset? He wasn't screaming. He wasn't mad. He didn't wag his finger at anybody.
He had his hand on his heart. Still a patriot.
I also noticed that his sleeves weren't rolled up. Jimmy, I want to add a couple facts. This is from antiwar.com, and they point out that the reporters at the scene said it was unclear why the bus was targeted, noting that there are no military installations anywhere near the market. They added that this remote area of Sada province has few hospitals, and Saudi naval blockade has left them with no medicine, so the death toll is certain to rise. UNICEF released a statement and said, no excuses anymore. More innocent children's lives to stop the cruel war on children in Yemen. No more.
We just did in Yemen worse than Sandy Hook. We just did worse than. Remember Sandy Hook? You remember how the whole country melted down? This guy waits till 45 minutes of his news show to even talk about it. Something that's worse than Sandy Hook. And he talks about it in very dulcet tones, very calm, very this and that, and we should stop this. This is not good. Okay, we'll be back with some Russia shit. Because I'm being paid $30,000 a day. Literally, didn't even spend 3 minutes on the story.
I want to just add, they have a quote here from the Saudi Arabian spokesperson, Colonel Turkai al-Malki, was defiant about the attacks on the busload of children, and he said the attack, quote, is a legitimate military action in accordance with international humanitarian law.
So who bombs us now? Someone is supposed to bomb us for this, right? That's how you're supposed. If you're moral, should we bomb ourselves? If we're moral, would we bomb? Where should we bomb in the United States because of this? Where should we bomb? And now, does a special prosecutor in Yemen get to indict military people from the United States? You know how Mueller just indicted people in Russia for doing normal spy shit? So someone get to indict the general who ordered this, or the fucking soldiers who helped do this, or who helped refuel the plane who did that? No. Or how about the politicians who sold the weapons that did that? No. Nobody. Nothing. So that's how you know it's all bullshit and you're being lied to about war. Again. Saudi Arabia sits on the UN's Human Rights Council. And he's not screaming about it at all. He's telling you about it. And again, I would like to see pictures of the military people who are in cahoots with the Saudis. I want to see a picture inside the room, because there's a room where they sit, and the United States Army people and military people advise the Saudi people on where to put these strikes. There's a room, and I have those pictures of those people on my computer, which is now drying out in the sun. This is probably Jill Stein's fault.
Oh, yeah.
This is probably Jill Stein or Susan Sarandon's fault. Right, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Or has this been our policy all along? Has this been the United States policy under Barack Obama, too? Now you know why people can't bring themselves to vote for corporatist warmongers? Because then you're complicit in this shit. And that's why I'll never give my vote to a corporatist warmonger. Ever. Because I'm not going to be complicit in this shit. I don't care how much Chris Hayes wags his finger at me after he just showed Trump's empty podium for an hour. He's responsible for this. He propped up Trump. He got Trump elected. He showed Trump's empty podium. He didn't cover Bernie Sanders. And he did it for money. So this is on him.
Well, we also have, supposed intellectuals that compare driving in traffic to innocent casualties in bombings as just kind of the cost of doing business. And we celebrate those people. So of course people are complicit.
So now you know why I won't vote for those people. So there you go. We covered it. It's way worse. It's heartbreaking. It's like, to me, I can barely look at it. I couldn't barely look at it when we were playing it. I can barely look at it. It's, and this is why I voted for Jill Stein. This is why I would not vote for someone who would do more of this. Because at some point, I just can't participate in it anymore. And this was happening under Barack Obama. This is being ramped up under Trump. It certainly would have been ramped up under Hillary Clinton. And let's remember, Barack Obama was a Peace Prize winner with a kill list. That's the world we live in now. Barack Obama goes from the White House, immediately goes to Wall Street when he comes back into public life. And I have a story today prepared about all the White House officials from the Obama administration and how well they're doing now, working for people who are in cahoots with Trump. So I really hope that computer gets dried out. I think I did save it. I don't think there was much stuff that got in there. Anyway, let's take some more questions, shall we? Since I don't have a.
Okay, will you do me a favor? Will you do me a favor while I ask questions? I have it'll be the first clip here, and it says who to call, so you can tell them you don't want our money being spent on hurting these children. All right, so we're back. We'll ask a couple questions. Let me scroll down. Why is Murphy saying my name is Josephine Ron? I just like her the least. I don't remember what that's.
I don't remember what that's referencing.
This is the Naughty Vegan interview. Bo Grits, third-party prez candidate from '92. Jimmy Strain should be called Putin's buddy Kush. Putin's buddy. That's from Winkle. Burning Burrow. Murphy, debate my name is Josephine Ron. I like her. She has an interesting story. Wonder if it's true.
Okay.
Ron says okay, Murphy. Stephen Butcher. Where are you? Where'd you go? Wow, where'd that go? We did that already. There we go. Ron, corporate Dems are dinos. Dems in name only. Right on. All right, and then we have Hassan says, ISIS' wet dream is turn a country into any Saudi village, women like chattel, beheadings, authoritarian and religious police. Why is the U.S. their ally?
Why do you think? Why do you think U.S. is their ally? What does Saudi Arabia have? Do they have iron? No. Do they have cattle? No.
No, it's not.
Do they have wheat? No.
Grains. Other grains.
Rare earth minerals? Do they have oil?
Oh.
Is that important?
I had green peppers. I was way off.
So that's the whole petrodollar baby at work. And so what happened was we promised our military to the Saudis if they would monetize all their sales of oil in U.S. dollars. And that's what that is. The U.S. sells bombs and warplanes to Saudi Arabia and refuels planes like the ones that attacked the bus. Those wishing to protest should call the State Department at 202-647-6575. Press 8 for a comment line. Say, I want the State Department to condemn the Saudis for bombing Yemeni children, and I want the U.S. to stop selling weapons to Saudi Arabia. I would say I would like the United States to quit supporting them in that. We're not. We're helping them. We're refueling their planes in midair. That's what we're doing. So, okay. Hope that helps.
Zev Keish says, for your new strain, Jimmy, smoke more, Dore. I like that one. Well, you know what? Brian Stelter came back, Ron.
Oh.
Ham sandwich?
Any sandwich you want, Brian. You send me an email. I'll be there. We'll have this debate. I'm stoked.
Super Platano man. Omarosa claims she walked in on Trump eating paper in Oval Office. Not surprising. John McCarthy, drink Russian vodka out of your Adam Schiff mug. That's funny. Edwin says,
funnier than anything Adam Schiff has ever said.
Back in Corona today from evac firefighters are amazing, but need more resources and the need to address climate change.
So,
go ahead.
So you done with that? So I have some stuff I want to say.
Yeah, no problem.
So let's get back to the thing, Matt Taibbi. So I was talking about this. I'm going to do a bigger, longer segment on it, hopefully Monday. But I wanted to get this. This was my response to a friend who had an opposite view of the whole Alex Jones thing, and I said, if doxing is illegal, because that's the whole thing. He's giving out people's addresses, and that's right where we were when I spilled the coffee.
Okay.
Because I said, if you get arrested for DUI, they put your face in the picture and your address. So, and if he shouldn't do that, if that's illegal, then that should get prosecuted. So if doxing is illegal, this is what I said. If doxing is illegal and he did it, then he should be prosecuted. End of story. My other friend says Alex Jones never did that, never doxed anybody, which further indicates the need for due process and why we cherish it. People have said the same. I say people have said the same about me. People have said Jimmy's no better than Sean Hannity. He's pushed the conspiracy that traumatized the rich family. People have said that, even though that's 100% not true. People have said that. And that's not some faraway, this is what I'm telling my friend, that's not some faraway hypothetical. That's already happened. Those kind of attacks were fueled by the newspaper owned by the world's richest man, the Washington Post, which used guilt by association and put me in the middle of an article set out to discredit and demonize everyone and anyone in it as a crazy, dangerous conspiracy nut. That's why the newspaper owned by the world's richest man did that to me. I was then lumped in with Alex Jones, Nazis, and public pedophiles by CNN. Because my show tells the truth about war. That's what happened to us. That's how the establishment views us. Because we tell the truth about war. They've also shut down lots of other sites at the behest of the Israeli government, for instance, and the Atlantic Council. Pages like Black Elevation was taken down. And a page called Mindful Being, which seems to be just a new age site because it shares quotes like this. We must unlearn what we have learned because a conditioned mind cannot comprehend the infinite. That page taken down. Mindful Being. Facebook also wiped out a page called No Unite the Right To, which was a page appearing to advertise a counter rally on the upcoming anniversary of the violence in Charlottesville. So people who were trying to organize a counter rally to the hate rally, their page got taken down. This has all already happened. Matt Taibbi says Facebook was helped in its efforts to wipe out these dangerous pages and memes by the Atlantic Council, on whose board you'll find confidence-inspiring names like Henry Kissinger, former CIA chief Michael Hayden, former CIA head Michael Morrell, and former Bush-era Homeland Security chief Michael Chertoff, the dregs of our society. That's who's advising Facebook on what pages to take down. And how friendly you think Henry Kissinger and those CIA guys are going to be to lefties. These people, so this is what Matt Taibbi says. These people now have their hands on what is essentially a direct lever over nationwide news and distribution. These people, those cretins I just mentioned, the CIA chiefs and Henry Kissinger, they now have their hands on what is essentially a direct lever over nationwide news distribution. And then he says it's hard to understate the potential mischief. I think he means overstate. It's hard to overstate the potential mischief that lurks behind this union of internet platforms and would-be government censors. It is already a scandal. So this, I love, he said, listen to this. It is already a scandal, he says. It is already a scandal that these de facto private media regulators have secret algorithmic processes that push down some news organizations in favor of other news organizations. Let me read that to you again. It's already a scandal that these de facto private media regulators have secret algorithmic processes that push down some news organizations in favor of others. That should already be a scandal, that they're favoring some news outlets over others, just like YouTube's doing now. They're suppressing this show and other independent news, and what are they doing? They're propping up CNN. They're propping up the people who lie about the news. They're propping up the people who lie about war. They're propping up the people who won't tell you about Yemen. They're propping up the people who push the propaganda about Russia. They're propping up the people who want to distract you from the system that gave you Donald Trump, because they are the system. So I'll read that to you one more time because it goes with the next paragraph. It is already a scandal that these de facto private media regulators have secret algorithmic processes that push down some news organizations in favor of others. Witness the complaints by outlets like Alternet and Truthdig and others that big platforms have been de-emphasizing alternative sites in the name of combating fake news. So they're suppressing places like Alternet and Truthout and taking those, and they're doing that under the guise of fighting fake news. And who's the ones who are going to determine what's fake news? The fucking CIA and Henry Kissinger? Yes! And the left is cheering this on! The left is cheering this on! These are just people who are not informed on the topic, have no idea what unintended consequences are going to come from this, and are called useful idiots. But this week's revelation is worse. This was before they completely deplatformed Jones. This was when they were just suspending him. He says, but this week's revelation is worse. When Facebook works with the government and wannabe Star Chamber organizations like the Atlantic Council to delete sites on national security grounds using secret methodology, it opens the door to nightmare possibilities that you'd find in dystopian novels. So when Facebook works with government and wannabe Star Chamber organizations, like, it's a nightmare. The sheer market power of these companies, the sheer market power of Facebook and YouTube and Apple, of the sheer market power of these companies over information flow has already been the real threat. This is why breaking them up should have long ago become an urgent national priority. But it isn't. Because we don't do any antitrust legislation ever in America anymore. Which is why Barack Obama made the banks bigger. Instead, as was obvious during the Senate hearing with Mark Zuckerberg earlier this year, this is Matt Taibbi. Politicians are more interested in using than curtailing the power of these companies. So politicians want to use the power of Facebook and YouTube. They don't want to curtail their power, and that was obvious during those hearings with Zuckerberg. The platforms, for their part, will cave rather than be regulated. That's exactly what's happening. So Zuckerberg's like, the government wants me to take a pay, so I'll take it down from. Wait, what do you want me to do? I don't want to be regulated. The end game here couldn't be clearer. This is how authoritarian marriages begin, and people should be very worried. That's Matt Taibbi. I also told my friend, Congress people are moving forward a bill to treat police as a protected class. Meaning anything said negative about them was going to be considered hate speech. So the next time somebody goes to a rally, an anti-police brutality rally, they can lock all those people up for hate speech. They can say they're terrorists. And then I ended my text to my friend, I would never want to be seen to be endorsing a system where a Silicon Valley billionaire gets to decide in the dead of night who has free speech and who doesn't without any due process or any adversarial judicial proceeding. Whenever they feel like it, we get freedom of speech. It gets doled out by the plutocrats at their own discretion and whim. So I would never want to be seen propping up that kind of a system. And that's what everybody on the left is propping up right now. And it's a horrible feeling. It's a lonely feeling. Lots of people like fascism. Lots of people go along with it if it's the person they don't like Alex Jones. They lose sight of the higher principle. This isn't, people go, well, Jimmy, they're a private company. Facebook and YouTube are a private company. They can do whatever they want. I know that. Because it's legal, right? That's why you say it's okay, because it's legal. It used to be legal to make Rosa Parks sit on the back of the bus. That didn't make it fucking right. And we all know it's wrong that Facebook and YouTube has a monopoly over these systems with no government oversight to protect people like us. We already know it's a scandal that these companies have monopolistic powers. All the power. In one article I read, it said that 70% of the people in America get their news from Facebook or Google. So it is stunning to me. It's just this, but look at the cognitive dissonance people do. There's a movie called The Post that is getting accolades left and right. In the same time, we're trying to kill Julian Assange and not one person standing up for him in the establishment. We have a movie like The Post celebrating whistleblowers and the newspapers that publish them. At the same time, we tortured Chelsea Manning. Nobody says a word about it. We're trying to kill Julian Assange. At the same time, we won't let Edward Snowden back in the country without prosecuting him unfairly.
And we've also had the movies The Fifth Estate and Snowden.
Yes. But the irony is that we have this movie, The Post, that everyone, with Meryl Streep for F's sake, and Tom Hanks.
Mm-hmm.
What, I mean, it's like, why don't you just have Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny star in the movie for fuck? And still people don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a movie right there in your face showing you what we're supposed to do. And people still don't get it. This is about a greater ideal. So people go, well, freedom of speech, Jimmy, that's only for the government. That's the government. Yes, I get that. There's a greater ideal here, and that is called free speech. Not freedom of speech, that's in your First Amendment. Free speech, which comes from the Enlightenment. Which means, as an ideal, as a value, we as enlightened people reject censorship no matter where it comes from, whether it comes from the government, from a religion, or a corporation. On principle, we reject it. Legally, no, Jimmy, legally they can. I know legally they can make Rosa Parks send the back of the bus. That didn't make it right. And we all know the law's messed up. They have immunity from being sued, Facebook and YouTube. They have immunity from being sued. Did you know that? They do. So now what YouTube and Facebook, they're not publishers. What they really are is bookstores. But they're the only bookstore in the country. So it's not like, hey, like YouTube, go on a different. There is no other YouTube. And when someone creates a platform that competes with Facebook, Facebook absorbs them. They buy them. That's how monopolies work. WhatsApp got invented. WhatsApp. Do you know what WhatsApp is? Well, I'll tell you. It got bought by Facebook for $19 billion. Now there's no more independent WhatsApp. Facebook owns Instagram. Facebook owns WhatsApp. So there's no way to compete. If people go, why don't you go invent another YouTube? If it becomes viable, YouTube will just buy it out. So that's why you need enforcement of antitrust regulation, and that's why we need to see these things as public utilities. Everyone agrees that the internet should be a public utility. That's what net neutrality is all about. That's what that's what we wanted Barack Obama to do, to make the internet a public utility, which he decided to right at the last moment, and then Trump reversed it with a G5. So we know the internet should be a public utility. Why not Facebook and YouTube? You know goddamn well they should be. And they're not. And why should they? Because they have massive power over the information flow in this country. That's why. And it's not healthy for our democracy. That's why. Are you stunned, Ron, by the people on the left who are getting this wrong? Because I am. I get you hate Alex Jones.
Yeah,
I get it. We all hate that shit, what he does.
Well, even in all of our videos, we're just like, we're not defending Alex Jones. Here's the principle. And every third or fourth comment, they're defending Alex Jones now. Like, really?
Even other guys with shows have said that shit. You're defending it. It's like, you've never heard the counter argument to that? This is the first time you're ever discussing this stuff? When I was a kid, I grew up in Chicago. The Nazis would march every year in Skokie, which was a Jewish suburb of Chicago. And the ACLU would always support them. Would you say, why are you defending Nazism? They're not. They're defending the principle of free speech. And we all knew it. Nobody blamed the ACLU for defending freedom of speech of the Nazis to march. We all knew that that's what made us a great country. We all knew that instinctively. Nobody was like, why don't they ban them? If people were doing that when I was a kid, I don't remember that people doing that in Chicago. We all just knew it. We had to accept it. That's the beauty of our country.
Well, and also, something that you just said that I wanted to mention, Facebook in many ways is having their cake and eating it too. You can't sue us for anything. We're not a publisher. We're just a platform that's open to anybody. But, we can decide what we can and can't censor because we're a private company. They're trying to have their cake and eat it too.
You can't say you're not a publisher, which is what insulates them from the law, and then act like a publisher. You decide who gets to be on the... Now you're a You're exactly right, Ron. They're trying to have their cake and eat it too because they don't want to be regulated. So there I did my rant on that, and I hope it informs people. And by the way, that was written by Matt Taibbi before the Alex Jones apocalypse happened, before his death penalty was given. That was before, when he was just suspended. And nobody's talking about the other pages that are being taken down. Nobody talks about the CIA being on the board that's fucking informing him. Nobody's talking about them throttling Alternet or TruthDig. Nobody's talking about that stuff. All they're saying is, come on, you defending Alex Jones? It just makes me, and there's nowhere to go anymore. Bill Hicks used to say, I'm going to France. There's nowhere to go anymore. Everyone's neoliberal. Everyone. Anything else to add to this? Did Arno make it back, by the way?
Arno is back, and he's outside. Yeah, he's doing his thing.
Okay.
He's working the magic right now.
So let me go talk to him for a sec. You take some.
All right, we'll do some questions.
And back to Steph and Ron. Steph and the Professor. That's a nice series, Steph and the Professor. You ready?
I am so not the professor, but it does sound nice, so I'll take it.
I find it so smart. I love it. Oh my God. The modest professor. Okay, so to clarify, RU equals Russia. Thank you so much, said 67. They and China are planning a gold-backed future to compete with the dollar. That's why we're sanctioning.
Oh, can I add a real quick thing?
Absolutely.
So it just dawned on me, the Josephine folks, you were trying to tell me the name of the fact checker, and I forgot about that prior comment.
That's right.
So I had no idea.
Her name is Josephine, but did they
I
give us the last
apologize.
name?
No, but I apologize because I did not know. I was like, okay, I forgot about that previous thing. So I thought someone would just be like, hey, my name, like as if like I got
Random.
it. Yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. And so I apologize for that. I that went over my head, and I'm sorry. We yeah. Time goes by, and then my short term.
Yeah.
We're naming strains of pot. My short term, Gonzo.
Yeah.
But I apologize
I bet
for
that was a strain. Oh, Josephine. I don't get the
that
connection.
was a strain.
Right? All right. Half a Ball says, I hope the $10 goes to a new laptop fund. Love you. Hope you folks can come to New Jersey or New York sometime. Give a kiss to Brownie for me. He's sleeping right now. I was going to pick him up and kiss him, but I'm worried that he's going to scream because sometimes he does that. He
yelps. He goes,
hi! But hi! At such a high pitch level. Are you back in the room, Jimmy?
Yes.
Okay, Jimmy Dore is back. Sorry, didn't see the strain in Super before. Thought I was being original, LOL. How about Dore to your heart strain, Jimmy? Dore to your heart. He's ignoring me. It's okay.
I like it. No, I'm just trying to think about what's John for the show and what have you.
Do you want John to go back to you, or will you tell when you're talking right now?
No, it's cool. Yeah, you can come back. Coming back. All right.
Henry Bernal says the American right uses the Venezuelan boogeyman, even though ultra-capitalist Colombia and Brazil hunt down journalists and silence activists and minorities while poverty and inequality increase. Why isn't it on me, John?
You should talk to the mic.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Thank you, Henry Bernal. And Justin Mitchell would love your thoughts on AOC's appearance on Cuomo's show. Cuomo's dumbfounded face as she eloquently blows apart the Republican can't afford this framing. Jimmy, do you have something on that?
Ask me again.
I think you do.
Yeah, I
You
have
have the Cuomo.
I have this. So this is a 3-minute. I haven't seen it. So I had again all this stuff loaded into the show, and then I spilled coffee on my computer, so we're drying it out right now. So I'm trying to piece together parts of the show on another computer right now. It's not easy, but here we go. So here's Ocasio-Cortez. She was on with Chris Cuomo, and now I've heard about this. I've heard about this interview. I heard she did really well, and I also heard that Chris Cuomo was a gentleman and allowed her to make her points without talking over her. So that's good on Chris. You know, I mean, I've given Chris Cuomo such a hard time in the past. I give all these guys a hard time. But I think guys like Chris Cuomo, you know, I think he's earnest. I just think that he's in that bubble and he doesn't know. Like when he says stuff like, how are you going to pay for that? He's chosen because he's the guy who will say that. He's not sitting there going, I know it's wrong to say that, so I'll say it for the money. No, he thinks it's okay to say that. That's why he gets hired. Am I making my point clear? Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. If you watch broadcast news, you'll understand. So what I'm trying to say is I don't think Chris Cuomo is an evil guy, even though I hammer him hard. I just think that he's, you know, a part of, he's chosen because he has those kind of sensibilities. Okay, I'm trying to be nice to him. Is what I'm trying to do right here. But anyway, it's probably not coming off right. Here we go. Here's, who cares if I'm nice to him? He's fucking loaded. Right? And it comes from privilege. His dad's a friggin' governor. So here we go. Now that's his brother, right?
I believe
his brother's
so.
the governor.
Yeah,
that's
so,
yeah. His dad was the governor. Now his brother. It's his older brother. Okay. And Chris Cuomo, very tall, and he wants you to know that. All right, here we go.
You know, there's that expression in journalism that the truth, that democracy dies in darkness. You need the light of truth. Dies in dark money also. If you could get dark money out, and you can't, because the Supreme Court was really clear on it, and I'll have to see if this court sees it any differently. I'm not sure that it would. Dark money, 100%, that is a nonpartisan issue. Then you get into the partisan issue of money, which is, man, do you want to spend a lot of my tax money on these proposals that you and Bernie and others have? Medicare for all, college tuition, maybe even housing, that the Green New Deal that you have, it is all very expensive.
Again, Medicare for all saves trillions of dollars. So how is this fake news? Should that be taken down from Facebook? Because that's not true. It's not very expensive. It actually saves trillions of dollars. And you know how I know that? Because the people trying to discount and trying to discredit Medicare for all did a study, and that's what they found.
I wish you would have asked him, are you cool with where your tax money goes now?
Yeah.
Are you happy now?
That's great.
You happy with it now? You
Yeah.
like all the bomb money? Chris, you like it?
That's great, Ron.
Be a great question.
So here we go.
Especially on the single payer side, and that it gives people sticker shock. Even in Bernie's home state, they got sticker shock. They couldn't get it done in his state because of how expensive it is, and that was an 11% increase in taxes, 9 to 11%. Even that was too much for people. How do you pay? How do you sell it?
So first of all, the thing that we need to realize is people talk about the sticker shock of Medicare for all. They do not talk about the sticker shock of the cost of our existing system. You know, in a Koch brothers funded study, if any study is going to try to be a little bit slanted, it would be one funded by the Koch brothers. It shows that Medicare for all is actually much cheaper than the current system that we pay right now. And let's not forget that the reason that the Supreme Court upheld the Affordable Care Act is because they ruled that each of these monthly payments that everyday Americans make is a tax. And so while it may not seem like we pay that tax on April 15th, we pay it every single month, or we do pay a tax season if we don't buy, these plans off of the exchange. So we're paying for this system. We Americans have the sticker shock of healthcare as it is, and we're also not talking about is why aren't we incorporating the cost of all the funeral expenses of those who die because they can't afford access to healthcare? That is part of the cost of our system. Why don't we talk about the cost of reduced productivity because of people who need to go on disability, because of people who are not able to participate in our economy, because they're having issues like diabetes or they don't have access to the healthcare that they need. I think at the end of the day, we see that this is not a pipe dream. Every other developed nation in the world does this. Why can't America? And that is the question that we need to ask. We have done these things before. We write unlimited blank checks for war. We just wrote a $2 trillion check for that tax cut, the GOP tax cut, and nobody asked those folks how are they going to pay for it. So my question is, why is it that our pockets are only empty when it comes to education and healthcare for our kids? Why are our pockets only empty when we talk about 100% renewable energy that is going to save this planet and allow our children to thrive? We only have empty pockets when it comes to the morally right things to do. But when it comes to tax cuts for billionaires and when it comes to unlimited war, we seem to be able to invent that money very easily. And to me, it belies a lack of moral priorities that people have right now, especially the Republican Party.
Well, I thought her answer started off weak and got much stronger from there. I thought
Yeah, she gained momentum.
She gained momentum as she went. So that when he says, "How are you going to pay for that?" I like what Ron said. First of all, I would say, well, first of all, I don't know if you know, Chris, but it's cheaper. The single payer saves everybody money. So that's just propaganda. So I wish you would quit saying that it's really expensive because it's actually much less expensive than the current system we have. So that's you got to knock
she said that in too many words.
She used the way she goes, the Koch brothers who did a study and who everybody, it's like way too many words.
Yeah.
Way too. The Koch brothers did a study, and if there's anybody who didn't want that study to come, no, just say what the fact is. The fact is Medicare for All saves trillions of dollars, Chris. In case you don't know it, it saves trillions of dollars. And that's how I wish she would have started off, but again, she did a great job at the end, which why are our pockets only empty when it comes to healthcare and education for our children? Oh my God! Hey, are you happy with how we're spending your tax money now? How come nobody asked them how they're going to pay for that $2 trillion tax cut? That was great. So she picked up steam as she went along. She's going to get better at that. Hey, when somebody asks you how you're going to pay for a single payer, you go, it actually saves trillions of dollars. It's the cheaper system. I'm advocating for a less expensive system than the one we have right now. So that's a bullshit talking point, Chris. So I wish you would stop saying it because single payer Medicare for all saves us trillions of dollars. And the people who want you to think otherwise are making money off of your illness. That's the only part she's missing.
And she'll get it. I mean, she hasn't even won yet.
I know.
She's gonna have some growing,
And I like, so we had her on the show in June, before anybody knew about her. And now she's popular, and now she's hard to get a hold of for my show. But again, there's these establishment fucks who everyone hates. Bernie can't wait to go on their show. He can't wait to line up for their show. And so I would love to have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez come back on the show. We've tried to get her on the show. How's that going, Ron?
I mean, yeah, a lot of back and forth, and I have a feeling it'll be one of those things closer to voting time. That's when it's going to be more media-esque. I mean, She was in town. We tried to get her to come in studio.
She's in town next week because I know we're going
she's
to
back in town next week.
They're going to do that forum with.
Oh, that's right.
I didn't even know that.
She's going to be here for the Left Forum. I'm doing the Left Forum with Gail McLaughlin and I think Nina Turner. No, I forget.
I'm not sure.
Maria Estrada. Maria Estrada, who's running against Rendon. Anyway, so Gail McLaughlin, myself, Maria Estrada, and I know Ocasio-Cortez is supposed to come to the Left Forum.
All right, well then, yeah.
So
we'll see if
she'll
she'll
be back in town.
Yeah.
It's very disheartening. It's just, anyway.
Well, we tried to get her in last week when she was here, and then they said she was too busy, and so we'll try again. I mean, she's coming back a lot, so.
Okay, so fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I hope, Bernie's definitely ducking the show on purpose, right? So it's being, it's not truthful when I talk to his press secretary, he's not being honest with me. He's bullshitting me and insulting, and that's a real tragedy for Bernie Sanders' campaign and people who work for him to be bullshitting a progressive voice who was the biggest supporter of his. And I'm the biggest supporter of actual progressive politics. So it's a real disappointment. At least so that's it. And I still hope Bernie becomes president. And so I hope it's all worth it. I hope all the compromises and all the bullshit and the lying to me, personally, is worth it. Every time I talk to Bernie's press guy, he goes, I got to check his schedule. He's got his schedule in his fucking hand. It's on his phone. He's got it. He's got the schedule. He's just bullshitting me. Right? Because, that's what these guys do. As a matter of course, they're bullshitters. And so he bullshitted me. Which doesn't feel good, and I don't give a fuck, right? So you want to come on the show? Don't go on Bill Maher's show some more. See how much that helps you. Go suck up to go let Chris fucking go on Chris Hayes' show more. The guy who wouldn't put you on when you needed it. So again, just dumb. And so when they become Democrats, they just get dumb. It just by osmosis. So Bernie's like a dumb Democrat now. Right, because they're in the party and they're doing dumb stuff. That's doesn't help you to not come on the show. It doesn't help you if you can't answer a question from a fucking dumb nightclub comedian. You can't answer a question from me. How are you going to stand up to Putin?
Your buddy.
So it's very disheartening. It would be nice to see if Bernie had a little more steel in his spine and actually wasn't afraid of a fucking piss-ass little show like this. But he is afraid of it. Isn't that something? Bernie's afraid of our little fucking show. Isn't that funny? Wow. How are you going to stand up to Putin? How are you going to stand up to Netanyahu? How are you going to stand up to the Saudis? How are you going to stand up to the Republicans? How are you going to stand up to Goldman Sachs? How are you going to stand up to Blankfein? Won't even stand up to a fucking YouTube show. Unbelievable. So anyway, it's very sad, and of course you can see how it puts me in such a good mood to think about it.
Favorite topic.
Bernie ignoring progressive news shows that supported the fuck out of him. Thanks, Bernie. Appreciate it. Thanks for turning into a regular Democrat. Appreciate it. Yeah. And I went easy on him when I was on Joe Rogan yesterday. Or 2 days, whenever I was on there. 2 days ago, 3 days ago. I went easy on Bernie. And that's an even bigger platform than this. Can you imagine? Boy, Joe Rogan's show is unbelievably popular. It is unbelievable. Yeah. That guy's killing it.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, our show goes through a spurt. We add subscribers, like we'll add like 1,000 a day. Like that's a lot. And so we've had a couple of spurts like that for a whole month. We'll add 1,000 a day. But that's happened like twice or maybe 3 times. Joe Rogan, every day he adds like 2,000. Every day he adds like 2,000 subscribers to his show.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Like that is just That's not a
He's in the millions on Twitter too. Like,
yeah, it's just crazy how popular that show is.
He's in the millions on Twitter.
On Twitter, yeah. Yeah.
I think I have 11,000.
I was looking at, who's the guy who played Ray Charles? What's his name?
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx has 4 million Twitter followers. And who's the guy? You're a grown-up little man. What's that guy's
Kevin
name?
Hart.
Kevin Hart has 40 million Twitter followers.
What? It's like crazy.
Tell me how many. It's crazy. It's like I thought Jamie Foxx and what's his name?
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart would be very much closer together in Twitter followers. But it's crazy if you see how much the difference between them.
he has 34.4 million.
Something million.
Wow.
Kevin Hart does. Kevin
Yeah.
Hart.
That's
And now
amazing.
look at what's the other guy's name? Look at Jamie Foxx. What does he have? So when I was taping my first, was it the special? Yeah.
Jamie Foxx has 4.6 million.
4 million to 30. I'm like, whoa! He has almost 600% more Twitter followers than Jamie Foxx. Isn't that crazy?
It's nuts.
I agree.
I just can't. Wow.
So when we were when I went to New York to shoot my first Comedy Central special at the Hudson Theater on Broadway, we met Kevin Hart. He was there shooting his special too. I didn't know who he was, and we were running our sets at a local comedy club, and he was there, and I was there, and it was like there's 8 people in the crowd. It wasn't really helpful to run our set in front of them. But anyway, so we're sitting there, and I don't know why we're stuck around, but Kevin Hart was on stage, and he was making us laugh. With 8 people, he was being funny. He was funny. I remember that one punchline. You're a grown-up little man. I don't know. Just the way he said it just made us laugh. He was very funny. So, boy, who'd have thought he'd become the biggest star in the world? 34 million? Look, he dwarfs Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx, that is really astounding. All right. So,
And Rogan has 4.2 million. So Rogan's on almost neck and neck with Jimmy Fox.
Jimmy, why don't I go ahead and read a couple of statements and questions? Most of them are statements, that you might want to chime into. John Blackman, I think he's responding to Jake Tapper did a segment 2, only 79 seconds. On the upside, he tweeted it, so it must be about the bus being attacked by Saudi Arabia. Sargon Akkad says, Jimmy, come on my show so I can interview you. You're remarkably woke. Thank you, Sargon. Sargon.
Oh, that's that guy. Has come to establish the United States.
Mike Pence.
It's going to keep rolling. Okay, anyways. All right, so here we go. Thank you, Sargon. Will Tribe, thank you for your donation. Divine Petulance. I'm going to save your statement. Okay, Jimmy, you're going to like this.
Sargon watches the show? I don't really know. All I know is that he's popular. He's in Canada. I think he's an atheist, right? But I think he's on the right for sure. But I think he's debated maybe Kyle Kalinske or something. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. But I know we had a friendly exchange one time on Twitter between each other. I forget what it was. Oh, he said something. Oh, so one time I said on the Young Turks, there's nothing worse than dropping nuclear bombs. There's nothing worse than the Crusades. And boy, that was, I guess that was a mistake. They didn't like that. And so people always say that back to me. They go, oh, there's nothing worse than nuclear bombs. Is there something worse than nuclear bombs? What is worse than nuclear bombs?
Hollywood remakes. I don't know.
Diarrhea on a day. I don't really. I don't understand what's worse than. So anyway, he tweeted it, I think, at me. Hey, there's nothing worse, or something like that. And I said, you mean keeping my act, right? And then he made some joke about it, and it was kind of a friendly exchange. And then, but to me, the interesting thing was the comments underneath it. People were so pissed off at Sargon for being friendly to me. They're like, how dare you humanize Jimmy Dore, shit like that. Wow. It was funny. So, anyway, I didn't even know you could invite me to come on your show. Come on.
He just did.
Okay. What do you want
I just wanted to be clear. He did.
What do you want to know?
Divine Petulance Jimmy says, "Hey Jimmy, I live in Humboldt County, and I have contact with a couple master breeders, all capitalized. We could make this pipe dream a reality."
Master breeder, you mean like Will Chamberlain?
They're talking strange.
Here we go. Winkle the Bernie Bro. Robin Williams took his life 4 years ago today. Reminds me that just as important as hashtag M4A is to destigmatize mental health issues and depression.
Rest in peace. Try talking into the mic. Because it just...
I go to the side a little bit? Okay, got it. So we actually just saw the Robin Williams documentary.
We just saw a documentary on Robin Williams' life. It seemed sad all the way through. It just seemed like he was a tortured artist, didn't it? It really does seem like he was that way.
Well, for the show, Rick Overton was his best friend, pretty much. Yeah, like they were really close.
Yeah. Rick didn't make the doc.
Really?
Did he?
No, I don't remember seeing it, but I didn't see the first part of it.
I didn't see the first part either. We saw the but at the end they showed that he was friends with Bobcat Goldthwait, and they talked. They showed him as being and Billy Crystal being his buddy.
It's a really good documentary.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good documentary. It was pretty sad seeing the way he died, and he had a brain disease, and everyone thought it was Alzheimer's, but it wasn't. And the drugs that they gave him to treat Alzheimer's made his condition worse because he didn't have Alzheimer's. He had a thing called Louis Barr disease. It's not Louis Barr, is it? It's Louis something disease. That's the name of it.
Right.
And so there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing worse than a brain disease, right? If you have that's like a particular cruel thing that God does, you know.
Mm-hmm.
God doesn't do it, and but it just seemed particularly cruel to not. Anyway, so that was too bad. Too bad for him. He seemed like a nice guy, Robin Williams. I never met him.
I believe it's called Lewy body dementia.
Lewy body dementia. That's it. Thank you, Steph. Lewy body dementia.
Left Commentary says, "Love your work." Thank you, Left Commentary. Andrew says, "History will not be kind when looking back on our actions as the USA. Eventually, we will be held accountable for our actions." You think?
I hope so. I would like to see that start. When does that start? When does that holding accountable stuff start?
Grillin 876. I watched interview with U.S. General. He said we are saving lives in Yemen because Saudi would bomb more indiscriminately without U.S. intel. Oh, God. Ruben Garcia. "Hey, Jimmy Dore, you should check out the progressive host from the UK, Gordon Denmark. He is really great and also a huge fan of yours." Thank you, Ruben.
No, it's Gordon Diminick. Is it Diminick or...
Well, he wrote Denmark here, so I don't know how to debate that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that guy. I've watched some of his videos. He's pretty cool. I like that guy. And his presentation is getting better. He recently got like a green screen thing happening, and I like that guy. Yeah, he's good. He's from across the pond, as they say. Hey, it's from Canada.
Balthazar 228. "War business is booming in the U.S. If Dems are asking us to pick the lesser of two evils, they're already acknowledging their candidate is not our first choice. Why not just give us RCV? Hashtag Jimmy's Truths." Nice, Balthazar. Thank you. Balthazar comes back again. Check out Streamlabs OBS. I can happily make tutorial for you, and you can keep track of donations, even week by week and month by month, from PayPal and Super Chats. It also allows for 250 characters for all. Thank you, Balthazar. We will keep that in mind. Kevin Fisher says Jimmy's weed should be called Green Party. Click back.
That's great. I like that Green Party. I love it.
Okay. My Jimmy Dore tattoo will be coming soon. Thank you for being a truth teller. User pick is Jimmy and I at People's Summit. Just know when people give you shit, there are more with you than against you. Oh, that's nice.
Thank you. That's nice.
Diesel. Giovanna, you're back. YouTube put to notice about RT being quote, funded in the whole or in part by Russia, end quote, but doesn't say WAPO is funded in whole or in part by CIA.
Amen. And they don't say MSNBC is funded by Comcast. They don't do any of that stuff.
Marsha Smith, no question. Just wants to say I love your anger, JD, and passion. My best to Steph and Ron and everyone on the Dore team. Did you hear that, everybody?
So we're good, right?
Thank
Thanks,
you, Marsha.
Marsha.
Richard says a donation. Thank you, Richard. Balthazar, your back t-shirt idea. Jimmy with a badass jacket, looking over his shoulder with, quote, show them the door.
That's what they're saying.
And I got sick.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah,
So let's
we gotta
get around this one.
Yeah, we're gonna get around that. Have you heard about Randy Credit Co. being subpoenaed by Mueller?
Yeah, we talked
Yes.
about it.
Yes, we have. And then someone else is talking about Sargon. Let's see.
Blue Train says, I can't afford to ask a question. I'm just an avid viewer. Galloway and Dore is a tour to seriously consider here in the UK. Try and get him on the show, Jimmy. Big love tall. Yeah, we'll get him on.
Canadian Dan says, I don't know a Canadian that says A. Hate speech! Exclamation point.
Oh, come on, eh?
Oh, it jumped on me.
Sure did.
It jumped on me big time. It's a real thing.
All
right. There we go.
What are furies?
Furries.
What are furries?
So, they're people that dress up as animals, and then I guess they kind of just have open sex, right? Like that's sort of the thing. Like they're animalistic about it, so to speak, and they have conventions and stuff, and
they like to dress up as animals and have sex.
Yes, basically.
Just imagine mascots making love in hotel rooms at conventions.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they do.
They do.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I would dress up like a salmon, and I'd be swimming upstream like a madman.
And then at the end of it, I just went in a circle. That's.
Okay.
Peter says, "Dore hit you on the way out." T-shirt slogan. Let's see. Tom says that Cortez is right about education and healthcare, but otherwise politically inept. Listen to NPR interview. I guess he's pointing to some NPR interview.
Okay.
Yeah.
Turns out NPR is pretty inept too. Let's go on.
Nice, polite Republicans. That's NPR. Let's see. If you're into YouTube progressives, ContraPoint Sean, H Bomber Guy, The Real Heroes. Brazil is a crony capitalist country like U.S.
Prussian Mink, if you did a show with Galloway in the UK, I'd come over from Norway for sure. Thank you, Carolyn Wolf.
Dear WAPO, USA's democracy isn't dying in darkness. It already died in well-lit boardrooms on Wall Street. I like that.
That's great.
That's good. Ma Mooney. Funny. I like it. Let's see. Former Europarliament Tony Benn said you never hear a general say that he can't take a hill because it exceeded his budget. We need the same tactic during peacetime. Jake, did you hear about the voting machine incident in Brett Welder's primary loss?
Yeah.
So the thing, I mean, what I remember is he was ahead.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden there was a glitch,
And then he wasn't.
and he was behind. And it's like,
everyone just
okay,
accepts it.
that doesn't. I don't
Everyone
know.
just accepts it. Just
Right.
like how Lee Camp pointed out how the polling exit polls and the vote count for a lot of Bernie's primaries didn't add up.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they would just change the poll numbers. Anyway, yeah, I heard about this.
Yeah.
And they just were like, okay, I guess there's nothing we can do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's all I heard. Like, all I heard was just like the footnotes. Like, yeah, he was ahead, and significantly ahead. Like it was a significant lead. Then there was a glitch. All of a sudden, he's not ahead anymore. And it's like, that's it? That's all you're gonna say? That's all we get on
Back
that?
to talking about Russia.
Right? Yeah. And it's like, okay.
200,000 people were kicked off the voting rolls in fucking Brooklyn for the 2016 election, and
Yeah.
nobody went to prison. Nobody got charged. Nothing happened.
I can't believe Russia did that. I mean, that was so.
Russia
Why
would
did they do that?
Why would Russia do that?
Wasn't that Schneiderman?
Yes.
And Schneiderman said, you know what? I think they learned the lesson from this, and
Yeah.
nobody's going to be prosecuted, but they definitely learned their lesson. Are you kidding me?
No, he's not. All right, so let me do a story.
Go ahead.
So you saw this. This was from 2 months ago. This was from. Let me see. What's the date on that? June 12th. It says DNC quietly adopts a ban on fossil fuel company donations. The move is a step forward, purging oil, gas, and coal industry influence on the Democratic Party's climate policies. But they do it. They didn't tell anybody. Keep it quiet. Why? Because Tom Perez wasn't comfortable about it. It pisses off his donors. He doesn't want anybody to really know about that. Because well, here's what it said. The Democratic National Committee voted over the weekend to ban donations from fossil fuel companies. The resolution proposed by Christine Pelosi, a party activist and House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi's daughter. It bars the organization from accepting contributions from corporate political action committees tied to the oil, gas, and coal industries. The executive committee voted unanimously. Wow. Unanimously to approve this. That's just in June. That's June 12th. This is going to be the way that we ask people to make some clear choices. So voters know what they're getting, Pelosi said. So that's Nancy Pelosi's daughter says, this is going to be the way that we ask people to make some clear choices so voters know what they're getting. When you talk the talk and walk the walk, that's how you're going to inspire people. Yes! You have to walk the walk and talk the talk and reap the weep and skip the skip. All that stuff. And that's how you inspire voters. Correct. But inspiring voters makes Democrats uncomfortable. So, Democratic National Committee backtracks on ban on fossil fuel donations. 2 freaking months ago, they unanimously voted for this. 2 months later, this guy introduces hey, let's get rid of it. The Democratic National Committee passed a resolution Friday afternoon that activists say effectively reverses a ban on fossil fuel company donations. Why would you people vote Green Party? Don't you know what's at stake? You have to vote for the Green. You have to vote for the Democrat. Why would you vote for a Green candidate? So you're not complicit. That's why I voted for a Green candidate, so I wouldn't be complicit in war crimes. The resolution introduced by the DNC chair, Tom F.F.ing Perez. This resolution was introduced by Tom F.F.ing Perez, which, let's remember, was put in there because of the strong arm tactics by Barack Obama. The resolution introduced by DNC chair Tom Perez states that the party supports fossil fuel workers and will accept donations from employers' political action committees. It was approved by a 30-2 vote just 2 months after the committee adopted another resolution prohibiting donations from fossil fuel companies by a unanimous vote. Here's what Jane Sanders says. She says, DNC Chair Tom Perez proposes that the Democratic Party now accept donations from fossil fuel political action committees just 2 months after the DNC unanimously prohibited donations from fossil fuel companies. Please tell your elected officials and DNC reps that this is wrong. Wow, she's really using some strong language. Please tell your elected officials that this is wrong. Here's Kate Aronoff. She says, to put a fine point on it, this proposal isn't to let union members keep donating to the DNC. It's to let fossil fuel executives keep donating and selling influence among Democrats. Certain unions, including some building trades, see their interests as aligned with those of executives. And here's what Bill McKibben says. New DNC proposal would support an all-of-the-above energy policy.
Heard that before.
Which the last party platform explicitly rejects. This is a bad idea on both scientific and political grounds. So all those people like, why would you vote for the Green in Ohio? Remember that? There was why would you vote for the Democrat? I don't know if you're an environmentalist. Why would you vote for the Democrat? This is why you would vote for the fucking Green. This is why, if you're an environmentalist, why you would vote for a Green Party person. This is why. Because if you keep voting for them, they're not going to ever stop doing that.
That's the thing. I saw this thing on Twitter, and I forget who tweeted it, but it was again shaming Green Party voters, and they said, why would you, either a Republican or a Democrat's going to win. With a Republican, you get 0% of what you're all about. With a Democrat, you get 90% of what you're about. Wouldn't you rather take 90% than 0? And it's like, no, you're looking at it all wrong. It's not that by voting for a Democrat, I get, quote, 90% of my platform. And you look at situations like this, voting for a Democrat, I get stuff I don't want because they do fracking too, because they're in bed with the fossil fuel industry
90%?
too.
No, I want a single-payer healthcare system. The
And they don't
Democrats ain't
stand
giving
for
it to
that.
me. I want to end the wars. They're expanding them. I want to break up the banks. They made them bigger. I want to end fracking. They're expanding fracking. I want a livable wage. They won't commit. You don't get any fucking thing. That's why people don't. If you got 90% of what you wanted, everybody would be thrilled to vote for the Democrats. And you wouldn't have half the country not voting. This isn't like we're not getting a cherry on top of our fucking sundae. This is like we didn't get a meal. There's no meal. And they're like, why don't you keep voting for us? Because there's nothing to vote for. So this idea that, what is, I would love to ask that person, what's the 90% that you got?
Yeah, where's the 90%?
Name the 90% that you got. Because Obamacare is a right-wing fucking program invented by the Heritage Foundation. It's not a lefty program. Barack Obama gave it to us. We would have gotten it without Barack Obama because that was their fucking plan. It was Romney Care. Remember Romney Care? So that's why it's important to vote Democrat, because if you voted for Mitt Romney, we would have got Romney Care. But we voted for Barack Obama, so we got Romney Care. With no public option. And that was by Barack Obama's hand, his design. We could have had public option. All he had to do was put it in the bill. He took it out. Barack Obama did that. People have no idea what Barack Obama did. They have no idea. If people actually knew what Barack Obama did, they would be screaming fucking bloody murder, and nobody would say, why wouldn't you vote for the Democrat over the... No one would say that if they had any idea what fucking Barack Obama did. But they don't have any idea. They don't know Barack Obama opened up the Arctic to drilling twice when he was every time he was asked by Shell Oil, he fucking did it.
Well, of course people don't know. That's why they're trying to sell this all of the above approach. Again, we've heard that before. We heard that from Barack Obama, and all the above meant drill baby drill. That's what all the above meant. It just sounded nicer than drill baby drill.
Right. It sounds nicer than drill baby drill. Exactly right. That's the same policy. And everybody's upset at Trump for climate change. Barack Obama, the biggest oil extraction boom in the history of this country happened under Barack Obama. So he was really a climate fighter, huh? Fighting for climate. Okay, let's see. So I wanted to show people. I wanted to show you this because people keep talking about the corruption of the Trump administration, which they are. Trump said he was going to drain the swamp, and of course he came in and they drained the swamp, and boom, there was his cabinet was right at the bottom. So, but they Huffington Post did an article about what the Barack Obama administration, some of the officials are doing now, and I just want to remind people what Barack Obama did when he got out of the White House. Before we get into that article, Obama goes from White House to Wall Street in less than a year. So this was from September 18th, 2017. September 18th, my brother Eddie's birthday. September 18th, 2017. That's when this was from. Obama goes from White House to Wall Street in less than a year, and everybody, what? No one was upset by that. In fact, we had comedians like the guy who hosts the Daily Show now defending corruption. That's how fucked up our culture is. That comedians now defend corruption and advocate against free speech, which is what comedians are doing now with Alex Jones.
The true point of satire is to defend the lesser of two evil with a punchline.
So last month, just before her book, What Happened, was published, Barack Obama spoke in New York to clients of Northern Trust Corporation for about $400,000 a person familiar with the appearance said. So Barack Obama leaves the White House, goes out windsurfing with Branson and riding in his balloon and going to Martha's Vineyard and going to Italy and all these places. And then when he decides to come back into public life, he comes back, and how does he do it? He comes back by giving speeches to fucking banks at $500,000 a clip. Why'd we get Trump? Huh? This is amazing, right? Last week he reminisced about the White House for Carlyle Group, one of the world's biggest private equity firms. Next week he'll give a keynote speech at investment bank Cantor Fitzgerald's healthcare conference. So that's what Barack Obama did. And that's what Chris Hedges means when he says they steal right out in the open now. They don't even care. They're so corrupt they do it right out in the open. That's Barack Obama doing it right out in the open. Legal corruption. Right out in the open. Right in your face. And now let's take a look. Former Obama officials are writing out the Trump years by cashing in. This is by Zach Carter and Paul Blumenthal. The revolving door takes a spin. So they list a bunch of quotes from people whose hair is on fire because Trump's so corrupt. So here's some of them. Our democracy is under attack, warned former Attorney General Eric Holder. Former Assistant Attorney General Lanny Breuer called the Trump administration's immigration agenda contrary to the core values of this nation. Conscientious public servants cannot stay silent, wrote former Department of Homeland Security Secretary Jad Johnson, who also said President Donald Trump's separation of migrant children from their asylum-seeking parents is immoral and un-American. That's former Department of Homeland Security Secretary Jad Johnson. Jad's a name, J-E-H, that's a name.
Yeah.
Former White House spokesman Jay Carney, we know Jay Carney, he worried about the country's credibility under Trump. Donald Trump is sort of to politics what Bernie Madoff was to investment, according to ex-agricultural secretary Tom Vilsack. His birth control policy, said Obama campaign manager David Plouffe, is unconscionable. Wow. And here's what the HuffPo article said, which I love this. They go, and yet, for all the damage the Trump administration is doing to American democracy, several prominent Obama alums seem to have quietly made their peace with the subtler attack on the legitimacy of U.S. institutions. Huh? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Well, today many are lending the prestige of their White House resumes to scandal-fraught organizations in return for large sums of money. Some are even doing business with the Trump administration. Huh? These days, Johnson, remember Jan Johnson? These days, she receives $290,000 a year to serve on the board of directors at Lockheed Martin, the largest American defense contractor and, get this, the world's biggest weapons manufacturer. She went from Barack Obama's White House to the board of the world's biggest weapons manufacturer, and she gets paid $290,000 a year for it, and she has to go to about 8 meetings a year for that. So 8 meetings, that's almost like $50,000 per meeting she gets to go to.
Not bad.
Go from the White House to Lockheed Martin, they give you $50,000 a meeting. I mean, I'm not a math surgeon. Did I do the math right on that?
Yes.
So that company, Lockheed Martin, by the way, has been fined over $767 million for various forms of misconduct since forming in 1995, according to the Project on Government Oversight. So they've been misconducting up almost $1 billion worth of misconducting. So when you think about the Trump University and how they scam people, you think like, oh, they're also scamming people, Lockheed Martin. All told, the company does $35 billion a year business with the federal government. Much of it, get this, contracted with the very department Johnson recently headed. What about the revolving door? The company's sales are rising along with Trump's defense budgets. Barnes, so that guy Barnes, is also working at a defense contractor, earning upwards of $210,000 a year, serving on the board of Booz Allen Hamilton, which held 8 meetings in 2017. How much is that? 8 meetings into 200. So it's like $30,000 a meeting.
Yeah, for 290, 8 meetings, that's like 36.
Okay,
So 210, that would be more like in the 30. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm not good with that.
Me neither.
But it's a lot of money.
I did it on a calculator.
Did you?
It's $26,250 per meeting.
Oh yeah, 50 times 8 would be 40. So 5 times 8, that'd be 400,000, not 300,000. So my math was up. So thank you for everyone. Please always check my math. My math is often wrong, incorrect. Barnes, who recently penned an op-ed for The Hill, so these are ex-Obama administration officials who recently penned an op-ed for The Hill calling to build an inclusive, multicultural democracy that provides opportunity, community, and security for all through community wealth building, has been working for the firm. What firm? Wait a minute. Oh, Booz Allen. They've been working for the firm since 2015. Last year, the company announced it was subject of a Department of Justice criminal investigation over irregularities in its government building and accounting. Oh, so they're scammers too? Over there at Booz Allen, you think? According to the Center for Responsive Politics, in 2016 and 2017 alone, the company received $63 million in contracts to work with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the militarized deportation agency at the heart of the Trump administration's family separation scandal. So Booz Allen making money off Trump's immigration policy. Booz Allen Hamilton revenues are up almost 15% since Trump came to town. As Attorney General, Eric Holder refused to prosecute Wall Street crime related to the 2008 financial crisis, even as banks agreed to pay billions upon billions of dollars in settlement after settlement with the federal government. Still, not one criminal prosecution, not one. Even in cases where major banking institutions pleaded guilty to felony charges, Holder and the Department of Justice declined to prosecute any actual bankers for crimes. Isn't that fucking corruption? So when Trump pardons Joe Arpaio, is that more corrupt than this shit? No, it's not. These people hurt a lot more people than Joe Arpaio did. So it makes a perverse kind of sense that Eric Holder is now a partner at the law firm of Covington & Burling, a DC-based outfit that specializes in work on behalf of the banking industry. So do you see that Eric Holder is a corrupt piece of it himself? He's as corrupt as they come, Eric Holder. He's Joe Arpaio. He is Trump. Eric Holder is. He is. He doesn't have integrity. Eric Holder's a money-grubbing Wall Street fucking cocksucker like the rest of them. And he's your enemy. In a remarkable interview with MSNBC's Chris Hayes in April, Eric Holder downplayed the significance of financial misconduct. No kidding.
You know what?
Can you imagine if Trump was doing that? Go ahead.
I just want to say financial misconduct.
Misconduct.
Come on. Why don't you just call it criminal stealing or whatever?
Yeah,
but
cheating
misconduct.
You mean criminal cheating and stealing from your own customers and committing fraud on the economy? You mean that financial misconduct? They make it sound like they crossed the street wrong while they were counting money. Oh, I'm sorry, jaywalked while I was counting. That's my financial misconduct. He downplayed the significance of financial misconduct, Eric Holder did, suggesting that law enforcement agencies have more important things to deal with. Imagine if Trump said that. People would be like, he's a treason! He's bought off! He's bought off! It's right in front of your face! It's right in front of your face! He's bought off! You're missing the biggest story of your life! It's right in front of your face! That's what they would be saying if it was Trump. But since it's Obama, this is what they say. What? Huh? Huh? Yeah, what are you going to do?
I like the law enforcement agencies have more important things to deal with. That's basically code for, like, we throw poor people in jail.
Yeah.
There's poor people to throw in jail.
Yes.
Leave us alone. We're fine. More important things to do.
So here's another guy, Brewer, who was in charge of the Department of Justice Criminal Division during the Obama years. I got Brewer. Is also a partner at Covington and Burling. Isn't that nice? So the person who was in charge of the DOJ's criminal division during the Obama years is also a partner at another Wall Street law firm defending Wall Street bankers. He currently spends his time helping clients navigate financial fraud investigations. Anti-corruption matters, money laundering investigations, securities enforcement actions, cybercrime incidents, congressional investigations, and other criminal and civil matters, presenting complex regulatory, political, and public relations risks. That's according to the firm's website. So he went right from the as the head of the Department of Justice Criminal Division to defending criminals that he was supposed to be prosecuting before, which he didn't. If Trump was doing that, people would be going fucking crazy. And they should. But this is why you got Trump. Because Barack Obama's just as corrupt, and these motherfuckers are just as corrupt as everyone else, and they're selling you out, and they sold you out. Which is why your life got worse under Barack Obama, not better. Obama's first Securities Exchange Commission chair, Mary Shapiro, has also found her way into Wall Street's good graces. She now advises financial firms with the consulting firm Promontory Financial Group and serves on the board of Morgan Stanley. His first Securities Exchange Commission chair is now on the board of Morgan Stanley. So you're supposed to be regulating them, but you really want a job from them. So you don't really regulate them. But Morgan Stanley is an investment banking behemoth that has settled 24 separate allegations of misconduct with the federal government since her departure from the SEC. This includes a multi-billion-dollar case for defrauding investors with toxic securities during the financial crisis. So you remember how people said how horrible it was, Trump and Trump University, which it was. That he defrauded these poor schmucks who thought they were going to go to a real university and learn tools to get ahead in real estate. And he defrauded them. That's what bankers do. They defraud the people who give them their fucking money, just like Trump did. And now Obama's people are defending these pieces of it. It's a big club, but you ain't in it. Former Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner, this is my favorite. Boo! He is now president of a private equity firm called Warburg Pincus, which owns Mariner Finance, an installment lender that targets poor families with high-interest loans. So Timothy Geithner, the fucking piece of shit that he is, and he is, Jimmy, that's kind of strong. That seems over the top rhetoric. Timothy Geithner, Secretary of the Treasury, is a piece of shit? Yes. He inflicted pain on 5.1 million families. What kind of pain? He made them homeless. And who did he do it for? The banks. So the banks could make more money. That was their plan, as was revealed by Dave Dayen's reporting. That wasn't a bug that they kicked 5.1 million families out of their homes. That was their feature. That was their plan to do that. Not to help them, to fuck them. And they did it. That's who Timothy Geithner is. And now he's the president of a company that preys on the most vulnerable in our society. He makes millions of dollars preying on poor people. Like, what do you mean, Jimmy? Well, for instance, a devastating Washington Post story published last week detailed the case of one Mariner customer who borrowed $2,000 from the firm, only to find himself owing $3,200 in less than a year. Even after making a few payments on the loan, Mariner initially got in touch with the man by mailing him a check for $1,200 out of the blue, labeled as a loan with a 33% interest rate. What fucking predatory pieces of shit Timothy Geithner is. Wow.
And he will never go to prison.
Ever.
None of these white-collar criminals.
But Trump's the real piece of garbage.
Oh, yeah.
Trump's a piece of garbage, not Timothy Geithner and all these pieces of shit. Ex-White House Chief of Staff Pete Rose is now chair of the Public and Strategic Affairs Group at the law firm Perkins Coie, where he, quote, provides policy analysis and offers strategic advice on navigating Congress and the executive branch, and counsels senior-level executives on federal and state policy issues and related public communication charges. So that's former ex-White House Chief of Staff. What he's doing now, that activity is known to the general public as lobbying. So he went right from the Chief of Staff of the White House to a fucking lobbyist. And then there's Carney. Prior to Trump's election, perhaps no American in the 21st century had displayed greater ingenuity when attempting to discredit legitimate journalism than the former White House spokesperson. So now, everybody's acting like Trump invented discrediting journalists, when the Barack Obama White House prosecuted journalists using the Espionage Act, and James Carney did what they're about to tell you he did. He tried to discredit journalism. Prior to Trump's election, perhaps no American in the 21st century had displayed greater ingenuity when attempting to discredit legitimate journalism than Barack Obama's former White House spokesperson. But lying just started with the Trump, right? Everybody was great. I just wish we had Barack Obama back with his brand of fucking criminals. Carney worked for Time magazine as a political editor before joining the White House, and he joined Amazon as a senior vice president in March 2015. After leaving the administration in the summer of 2014. When the New York Times ran a story detailing a host of problems with Amazon's harsh workplace culture, Carney authored a lengthy reply on Medium, publicly challenging the company employees quoted in the story. So the Times does a story, quotes the employees at Amazon, and then asshole Carney writes a piece discrediting those employees. And why Amazon thought this would contribute to an image as a supportive employer was not clear. And Carney also accused the New York Times of journalistic malpractice.
What did he say to discredit the employees? Like, they didn't actually have to pee in bottles. It was more of a jug.
Yeah.
It's not true.
When the New York Times ran the story detailing a host of problems with Amazon harsh workplace, I just did that. So this is what the author of this piece says. Go read Carney's piece and ask yourself if the final paragraph doesn't read like a memo from Sarah Huckabee Sanders. It's a masterpiece of innuendo and half-truth, of molehills presented as mountains and unsubstantiated accusations. So we'll end it there. Those are the criminals who were in Barack Obama's White House. That's the swamp. Eric Holder is the swamp. Barack Obama is the swamp. Jay Carney is the swamp. These people are the fucking dregs, and they're screwing you to become millionaires. It's a big capitalistic gangbang, and you ain't in it. But they want you to think it's just Trump. The system was fine before Trump. Trump happened because we don't know why. This is why Trump happened. Because all these people in Barack Obama's administration are working fucking against you, including Barack Obama. Jimmy, that sounds over the top. It's not over the top. It's a fact. It's why you don't have the public option. It's why you don't have fucking Medicare for all. It's why we don't have a functioning financial sector. It's why we pay twice as much for healthcare as the rest of the world, because they're all corrupt.
Can I add one thing?
Yes.
It's why half the country doesn't vote.
It's why half the country doesn't vote. You want to know why half the country doesn't vote and you have to bitch about people getting 1,000 votes for a third party? This is why half the country doesn't vote. Deborah Messing, Chris Hayes, Rachel fucking Maddow, you worthless sack. She's not worthless. She's very valuable to the establishment. She's very valuable. That's why they pay Rachel Maddow $30,000 a day, which is what they paid her. To fucking lie to you. And she does. So, there you go. That's a great job, by the way, by Zach Carter, and who was the other gentleman who wrote this? Zach Carter and Paul Blumenthal, great job. It was really great stuff. Okay, should we take some more questions and wrap it up?
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to do probably I think we have 15, 20 statements, questions. I just want to start with this from Keith. This shit reminds me of The Sopranos. These are mafia-like no-show jobs. That's your pay on Capitol Hill political favor equals no-show job on Wall Street. Jimmy, you have to have Mike Papantano on your show.
Oh, he has a show on RT. Mike Papantano. He's from the Ring of Fire network. He has a show on RT. So I don't know if that's okay with people. If I have a guy who has a show on RT on my show, the Russians are paying him.
Hey, who's the guy that does the impressions on the phone calls?
Mike
Not
McRae.
sure everybody appreciates him. How hilarious this dude is. Thanks.
Legendary Mike McRae, who can be found on the web at MikeMcRae.com.
And
maybe you wanted a break.
He can be found in Burbank, California on October 12th. He will be at our next live show.
Woo-woo!
How about that?
Keith says, oh, wait a minute, I already did that. Matt says, Dorefest 2019 DC. I love that idea. Sed comes back and says, you should check out the Paul J on Real News breaking down Obama's speech defending the oligarchy at Mandela Day. Okay, so Zark Muckerberg has a couple things to say. NPR shows Democracy Now! When TYT ignores Brent Willier, Jimmy Dore goes too hard on not impeaching Trump. I don't even know when we talk about that.
Never.
I know I always have Amy Goodman. Green Party all the way. Jill Stein is definitely inspiring AOC and her Green New Deal. It's obvious. Green Party all the way. We said that. Okay, good. Now I'm going to move. Thank you, Zark Muckerberg. You should have honest Tom Perez on your show.
We did reach out. They never got back to us.
Did we
reach out
really?
to Tom Perez.
Ugh. I don't know.
I can't believe White'd say no, but he never got back.
The guy can't take a question from a kid running a lemonade stand. Are you kidding me? He's never been able to answer a question.
He couldn't answer what restaurant should we go to.
Right.
Well, if we just put hope on the menu, it'll taste good.
We gotta quit. We gotta quit trying to separate restaurants from other restaurants. And, all restaurants are good.
Can we have the first contestant of Putin's Buddy be Nancy Pelosi's daughter and also interview her about her comments? I don't know what that's referencing, Nancy Pelosi's daughter.
Putin's Buddy is the game. The game.
Gotcha.
Who
is Putin's Buddy? You should have Chapo Trap House on as guest. You have not mentioned Julian Assange being subpoenaed by the U.S. government for a behind-closed-door interview. That was Desmond Amendment.
I don't know about it. Did you know about him being
allegedly
subpoenaed?
he got a letter.
He got
Allegedly,
subpoenaed?
yeah. I don't know if it was an actual subpoena, but like the Senate Intelligence Agency contacted him.
Yeah, what, they want him to come to D.C.? No, why don't you go to him?
Right. Yeah.
Go to him.
Yeah, I mean, that was basically like, and so far I haven't heard any further updates on it, but yeah, if I was him, I would.
He's not coming.
Yeah, I would want a lot of stipulations.
Yeah.
Shane says, higher tax the more you have to work to get to middle class. Zero Divisor, much love. Was great to see you on Joe Rogan again. David Beltran, any plans on revisiting the Walmart outsourcing issue with law enforcement? Rex the Younger, Jimmy, you must watch George Galloway destroy the Senate over the Iraq War. It is here on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
P.S. Please do a show with Galloway. It would be a sellout. JT24 says, Caleb Malpin? ? He is on RT. Jimmy, thoughts on Michael Smuganati saying he is forced to run against Trump in 2020 since there's no viable candidate that has a shot? His Twitter feed is full of people that think he's godly.
I don't know who that is.
All right, I don't either. Jimmy, that wrapped all the statements and questions from the solid chat, super chat, Chatterday.
It's been a great Chatterday. Thanks, everybody, for sticking with us through our technical problem of me spilling my iced coffee on my computer. Thanks to Arno for fixing it. It's fixed. Okay, thanks for being a patron and supporting the show. You know what? Sometimes I get afraid that we give too much bonus content to people that they don't have time to watch it or listen to it, and then they're like, "Well, fuck it. I'm tired of this show." Too backed up with stuff. So anyway, but thank you again, and this is we couldn't do it without you. And they're screwing us. They're throttling us. They're suppressing our advertising. They're demonetizing. They're doing everything they can except for pulling our platform, which is next. So thanks for being a patron and supporting us from the bottom of my heart. We'll see you next week. And so next Saturday we may be in Chicago. So I have to go back to Chicago. So we may not do, but I think I can do a super chat from my computer. So we'll do a version of a super chat next week for sure. Even though I'm going to be in Chicago, we'll do a version of it. Just like regular people do. I'll just go in and just answer questions and stuff. I won't be able to do this with the thing behind me, but we'll still have a chat about that. Okay, so thanks for and I know I'm always flattered that people are into the show. People say we rearrange our Saturdays so we can watch the show, and then you don't do it, and I do feel badly about that. So that's why I try to make an effort to make sure every super chat Chatterday, that's it, Chatterday is fulfilled. So thanks again. I'll stop talking, and we'll see you on whatever, Monday or what have you.